How are we all doing? I've just realised this camera's really high. I look like I've got. That's better. Let's bring that. That's better. Look like I was like you could only see like literally from here. Anyway, glad everyone's come along. Like it's going to be a good stream. I've got plenty of fit in. Got some interesting questions. I've got somebody I had on last. In fact, I've got two people I think from last month thinking about it. And let's just forget. Let's just get on with it. Sod it. So I'm going to bring my first guest in. You all know him. He's got his own little place at the bottom of his garden. It's very impressive. We all love it. And that is Martin from the Hobby Lodge.
Hello.
How you doing, mate?
I like you trying to think of something clever. Then you went, "Oh, sod it. Let's just get on with
it." Yeah. It doesn't work when I try and be too clever. It don't.
No, just keep it simple.
Yeah. How you been anyway? You good?
Yes, good, mate. Yeah, busy. Lots of personal stuff going on in life and stuff like that. You know, we've all got things going on outside of our YouTube personas or whatever's going on there. So yeah, super busy with just a bunch of stuff. But glad to be able to just chill tonight and have a chat with you guys about all things 8-bit. Right, that's what we love. So it's nice to take a break from it.
Yeah, it's a good escape. I find. Like, I mean, obviously, where I'd been off work. I mean, I went back Saturday night, so I did 2 shifts. Didn't want to go in straight for my 4, but while I was off, I found that doing the streams helped. Like, it's an escape, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
You can forget your problems for a bit and just have a chat with some mates and have fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so looking forward to it.
Cool. We've got some good topics. So one of them's definitely down your street. I can say that much. So. Right, let's bring in our next guest. He was on our last stream, and that is Lee ZX Tetlee. How you doing, my friend?
Good evening again. Hello.
I could see that lovely arcade one-up of yours there.
Oh yes, of course. The new backdrop.
I'll tell you what, I've got to say, when I saw your video, it looks like they've stepped their game up a bit with the arcade one-ups. That looks a lot better than some of the older ones they used to bring out, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. Me? I mean, I've not seen the older ones in person, but yeah, it looks nice to finish. I mean, you haven't got the sort of the side bits sticking out here, for instance, and just the whole sort of finish around this part here.
I was going to ask Tetlee. I know it's not 8-bit. Well, I suppose actually it is in a way. But this is called the Legacy, right? So what was the difference between why is it called a Legacy versus a non-Legacy? What was the difference?
That's a good question, actually, Martin, because I'm not really an expert on these things, but I'm not sure actually what makes them legacy cabs. Whether it's anything to do with the online features, I think maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Because you've got the sort of you've got the leaderboards and that, but I presume it's that. No idea, to be honest.
I do like the fact that the leaderboards, where it's linked to the Wi-Fi, you get everyone else's score. I understand that can go against you because when I said this to you, you said, "Yeah, but."
It makes me realise how crap I am. Yeah.
That's the only you're being beaten by Barack Obama at the moment, so clearly he's a better player than you.
That's a quite funny tags on there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, if you're really good at it, and you know you are, you could have a lot of fun with some of the names you put in here.
Oh, you really could. You're right. Yeah, you could relive those old arcade days.
Yeah. Only the difference with this is you know that anyone in their house that's got one of these can see that. I mean, that's good.
That's good. I wonder if they censor those tags or not. No idea.
Don't know.
Must be. I hope so.
You'll have to find out.
I'll see what comes up.
Next time you get a good score, just put these nuts, like DEEZ, and then nuts.
Well, it goes by. I think it's effectively like a gamer tag though. So you put it in, it puts that same name, automatically. So I don't think you can put a different name every time. That would be better. But strangely, you can on some of the games because on Pac-Man, for instance, you can put you just localize your 3 initials in, which I think is quite good because if you're playing against people in your house, you don't really want to see all that sort of main leaderboard. You want to have your own names up there, don't you, rather than just one person's name.
True. Mind you, even with 3 initials, you can still sod about with our FUK. Wouldn't it? Right. Okay. Let's get Scott in because I see he's sitting there patiently waiting. So, Mr. Sega Zombie himself.
Hey.
Hello.
Better? You feeling a bit better now, Scott?
I just had a major coughing fit. I'm all right. I've took your advice, got a hot drink.
It's amazing how much difference that makes when you got a cough, and it, because the thing is, the more you cough, the more you irritate it, right? So then you just keep, it's a vicious circle, isn't it? And you have a nice hot cup of tea or a coffee, and then it just eases it off.
Yeah,
it's definitely full of honey.
Yeah, a bit of honey. That honey's great when you got a cough. Got to admit, that is good.
Oh, I can't do honey. Ugh.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Boiled stuff.
Needs must stop.
I think I can just about do honey and Jack Daniels, I think.
That would work.
That'd work.
Oh, I'll talk about alcohol again. I can't drink, guys. God, all the things I love doing, I can't do any of them. It sucks, I'll tell you.
I'm drinking tea tonight, the out of respect.
Well, see, I'm having all I can drink is Coke. Like, that's all I can drink. Like, I can't drink Monster because it speeds your heart up, which would probably kill me. Right? I can't drink alcohol because I'm on blood thinners, so that'll just make my blood even thinner. So then I effectively will bleed to death. And I can't vape, for obvious reasons, because it's my lungs where the blood clots are. So it's shit. It's really shit.
You're going to come out of this a new man.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing, though, right? I mean, you know, Scott Martin knows this. That, you know, I weight train. I'm not an unfit person. So this is a thing. Like, if this can happen to someone who exercises, it just proves this can literally happen to anybody. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Don't kick giant balls, folks.
Yeah.
Up a hill. Yeah, don't play golf football.
But you know what, though? That was my missus' fault. I didn't even want to play that. That was her fault because that day I finished the night shift that morning, so I hadn't had a lot of sleep and I was knackered. And I said to her, I was like, and you can see why this happened, because when you're tired, you're more prone to injury, right? I kept saying to her, like, can't I just walk around and watch you play? I don't want to play. I'm too tired. And she's like, no, I paid for it. You're playing, and look what happened. So after I was like, it's your fault. Like, your fault. You should have let me just sit it out. So every time she complained where she had to do things for me, I was like, it's your fault. So,
it was strange that was on a hill, though. Why don't they just put all the holes on the bottom?
I don't get it. I really don't get why you would put a football golf course on a hill that's like that, so that every time you miss, it rolls down the hill and you got to chase it. Like, I mean, the thing is, one thing I will say, I kicked the football that hard, which of course caused my injury. But the one thing I can say is I broke one of the golf flags, like clean in half, where I hit it so hard, it just snapped it in half. So I was quite proud of myself. I was like, that was a good shot, that. Took it right out. So
I wonder if you're the only person out there with a golf football injury.
Yeah. It sounds ridiculous, though, didn't it? Like when I had to tell people, like I had to tell, when I was telling people at work, I made sure I didn't mention the golf part. So I was like, how'd you do that? I was like, oh, playing football with my boys. I thought, I can't say the golf part because it just sounds ridiculous, didn't it? I was playing football golf. The only thing worse than that I could say is like, oh, I was playing Wii Sports. Like, it's as ridiculous as that, isn't it? Like, I got a Wii Sports injury. Like, Jesus.
Anyway, back in the noughties, I suppose.
Well, yeah. Right, let's go through the comments. So we've got Mr. Chef first. Well, I suppose you would be at 4:57 p.m. today. So, yeah, he put that in a bit early, didn't he?
But is he in now? That's the problem. He likes to say he's first. He does that to me. He says he's first. He doesn't bloody show up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. As we go down, let's see if he is there. Who's this guy? I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, dodgy.
Pixel Plug, how you doing, mate? And we got Sire. Hi, Sire. Hope you're good.
He's still going through a pile of 1,000 games or whatever he's got to go through.
and then we got this guy here that blames other people for sound issues on a stream. He's not picked up on what I just said then, have you? No, he's oblivious.
No, he's not. Is
that, sorry, me? Oh, I was reading some comments.
Yeah, I said we got this guy that blames other people for sound issues.
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
Roller? He got it all that stream, didn't he? All that stream, everyone said it was him and it wasn't. Who let him in again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, lads, it's Paul. Makes a change that Paul's not actually on here, to be honest. Hey, chat. There's my mate I used to work with. Hi, Lee. Hi, everyone. How you doing, mate? Hope you're good. Hi, RC. I missed somebody here. RC.
Raven Cat.
Oh, that's who he's on about. Right, got you. It's only because obviously rock and roller, people call him RC sometimes, don't they? Oh, Jesus Christ. Chat's just jumped like mad. Yeah, Haley. Oh, what's this? I love honey and Jack Daniels. Who don't? In fact, they got a honey one out, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite nice, but it's very sweet. You couldn't drink a lot of it. I used to have to mix it with Coke. It's very sweet. There's Joe Gaming Girlie. How you doing? Oh, what have I done now? Click the wrong button. And there's just loads of people, I think, now just saying hello to everybody. Yep, and there's no Lee. So, yeah, you're right. See?
He says he's your friend, mate, but, you know.
Yeah. he's probably out playing bloody golf or something. Mind you, it's dark, so maybe not. Floodlights, driving range, maybe. Maybe. Don't be silly. Lee doing a video? What are you talking about? Nonsense. I'll tell you what I have got now. I've got something I've got to show Martin here. Yeah, check this out, Martin.
Hello, little old lady.
I did that the other day. That was that photo, wasn't it, when you was working that day?
I was up in Edinburgh, yeah.
I put a little speech bubble saying hello, and I sent it to him.
Hello.
I remember Martin was kind of like, "Oh, that's nice," you know, like unimpressed sort of thing. And I thought, what can I do that'll make that funny? So what I did was I nicked the soundbite from. Did any of you guys remember Chilton and the Wheelies?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the dragon. That's the dragon's voice. Hello, little old lady. So I was like, that'll do. I thought, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to spring it on him when we're doing the stream. I mean, it's almost as good as this
magic wood. Then they've got trees everywhere. That
magic wood. Come on, you can't say that and I can't not snigger. Come on.
Yeah, you can't.
Alex, we're all watching you, mate. We've all got magic wood. Come on.
I've got magic wood.
You know you're going to get Retro Chef in the comments now, don't you?
Oh, God. I'm getting a bit geeky, a bit nerdy, aren't I? But yeah.
Well, that's what this is about, though, isn't it? It's a nerdy stream.
I still can't believe he said that on that stream. That was
if he's talking about chaos, I've got magic wood as well.
Oh, it was hilarious.
He must be talking about chaos there.
Well, Alex just hit 10K on his channel, so I'm sure he's got magic wood again.
Yeah,
you know that's gonna that'll do it.
But you're right, it was chaos. It was chaos. He was.
It was,
about.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious because I'm sitting there with a big grin in my face, and I think you just sort of burst into laughter, didn't you, Martin? And then Si said something, but it was the fact that Alex was totally oblivious to what he just said. I don't think he realised
that's why. He's an innocent soul.
When he said like, "Oh, I'm a bit geeky," and I'm thinking he hasn't realised what he said, has he? Like, that was funny. Mind you, now I've got one more. This one I've shown before. You'll remember this one, Martin, because this is Rob from Knots Gamer doing a bit of commentary. I love this one.
After a quick run around, the first thing we did was encounter HobbyLodge here, taking on Retro Baited IK Plus. Things really started to heat up on the bonus stage. As you can see here, we have Retro Baited really concentrating, does not want to get felled by any of these balls. Here we go. He's really, really concentrating. Oh no, there we go. Fell by a ball. Can the HobbyLodge do any better? Now, Martin is a seasoned veteran of bouncing one's balls on the Amiga. He's very, very practiced in the art of ball bouncing, especially passing them back with a little paddle there. He loves doing that. So as we can see, he's much more accomplished at this than Retro Bait was, and he's doing very well. And it's it's all over for Martin too. Excellent.
I'll tell you what, that he's really good at that, isn't he? He's really good at that.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that before.
That was great fun. That was really good. That was
you
guys convinced me to go up there. I couldn't. I love that game. That game is one of my favorite games of all time. And they were doing it on stage and tournaments, and all the guys were like, "You should go up. You should go up." I'm like, guys, I'm not going to go on stage and play against some 8-year-old. One, because I don't want to destroy an 8-year-old. Obviously, that would have happened. But then Paul was like, "Go on, then we'll go up." And it was actually a really good laugh going up there. It was really fun.
I thought Paul was the 8-year-old for a minute.
I mean, I did beat Paul. That's the important thing. The important thing is I won.
The important thing. I like that. The important thing is I won.
Yeah.
what I liked about that was I can't remember if he put it in one of his videos or whether he put it in the group. I can't remember. It was one of the two. He put that up, and I said to him, "You've got to let me nick that for the Micro Maniacs because that's hilarious." And I've just kept it on here because it's good every now and again just to play that because it's genius. He's very good at that. It's very funny. Good stuff. Right. Okay. Let's go into. Oh, hang on. We've got a bit of chat here. What's this? That was a fun day. Yep, Paul, because obviously you're sitting next to you there. Well played, Martin. What's that? Tetlee. You best be there this year. Oh, fighting talk now. Rematch this year. I see you and Paul are going at it already, are you? I can't go this year. That's true, actually. Yeah, he can't, can he? Oh, that sucks. And then Defo going this year. Right, okay. Right, let's get into our first topic, shall we? And I'm thinking that we'll start with this one. Hit Squad collecting. So I wanted to talk about this one because obviously, Martin, you're going for a full set for the C64.
Yeah.
I understand you're getting pretty close to completing that as well.
Very close.
I just wanted to talk about it just in general, you know, like why is it that it's such a sought after thing? You know, is it that it looks nice on the shelf, you know, the uniformity? Is it because, you know, it's the nostalgia side of things? And then also maybe talk about, you know, why are these games, some of these so expensive when you consider it was just a budget title, you know? So these are all things I wanted to discuss because a lot of people do collect hit squads. And it's just because this is the thing, this is a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. But I've got to admit, watching your videos has made me a few times think, oh, why don't I do it? And it's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it yourself, Lee. It will do you ready and don't do it. So, yeah, the thing is, when you see one of your friends doing it, it makes you want to do it. Like, you want to take part. Yeah. I don't know if that's just me or whether everyone else gets the same feeling, but I know from watching Martin's videos, seeing him getting them, and I'm like, oh, I remember that one. Oh, I wouldn't mind having that one. It's like, no, don't do it. You know, it happens every time I see these videos. So, I don't know, like, what was it that made you want to collect the hit squads, Martin?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's almost paying homage to the Commodore 64, right? So I got reunited with that Commodore 64 early last year. So, you know, it was sort of January 2022 that kind of, it sort of came back into my life. And obviously that was through Retrobait and that sort of stuff. So, I've been sort of reconnected with it. I've been doing retro gaming for a little while, but it's been everything. And last year, definitely honed in on Commodore, right? Whether that was Amiga or C64. And with the Commodore 64, I've definitely found my thing. That's what I love, and I love playing it all the time. I pack it away every now and then, and within a day, it's back on the table again. That's how long it lasts being packed away. So naturally, I'd been picking up games for it, and if you're going to pick up a bundle of games, you're going to get hit squads in there. They just are in every bundle of games ever bought ever, you know. And if I went to the Retro Realm, Scott always had a couple, or you know, if I went to wherever, they'd always appear. So throughout the year, you know, and obviously Paul talks about it every time you get hit squad out, Paul goes, "Oh, hit squads, you should collect them all." You know, he's constantly on it, you know. So
when it's like a crack dealer, isn't he? Like Paul,
he is a massive crack dealer. You all are, to be honest.
You want some squads?
Yeah. So when it got to about sort of November, December time, I had a look, and I think I had just randomly like 22 hit squads. I think in December time, and I was like, you know what? I've never gone for a full set of anything. I've always just picked things up randomly. I've never actually gone out to get something, and it is for me that sort of paying homage to the machine and my childhood with it and things like that. I thought, you know what? Let's have a go. Let's have a crack at doing it. So I started collecting, I think the second week of December, and you know, I'm extremely close. Having a full set now. You know, the videos lag behind where I'm at, but you know, between you, me, and the people in the chat, I'm one away from a full set. So which I may never get right. This is the honest answer to this one. I don't know if I'm ever going to complete that one. But
is that the rarest one?
It's the rarest.
Is that the rarest one out there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Most expensive too, isn't it? So.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah. Which that bit, the bit that bothers me the most is the rarity of it. Like I've got no issue with getting it when it's around, but I may just never see one to get one, and that's probably more sad than anything else. But that's what's made me do it. It is the paying homage to it, connecting with it, having a full set of it, the sort of community around it. Like there's other people out there collecting sets. I know Scott's obviously done bits of it before, and obviously I love talking to Paul about it. So for me, and I think it is achievable to a certain extent. Like there is only maybe 10 or 15 that are quite difficult to get. Otherwise you can get 100 hit squads, I think, fairly easily, and then that last batch are difficult. I don't know what it's like maybe for Spectrum and Amstrad, but certainly I went from 22 to 100 in about 6 weeks, you know. That is just a case of money. That's literally all it is. Like, they're out there to be got. You just got to have the money to get it. So if you've got the money, you can get 100 hit squads tomorrow. But it's the last ones that I'm going to really struggle to get. So yeah, that's why I do it. I've loved the journey so far. I would love to finish it, but I'm okay if I don't, because that may never come about, you know. So yeah, but there, Scott, obviously you collect them as well, haven't you, Scott? So
yeah, I did. Yeah, I collected. Well, it's 2 or 3 years ago now, maybe 4. Time flies, but I sort of collected the hit squads for a similar reason, because I thought, well, most of these are Ocean games. They're all classic games, which were great. So for me, I didn't have the nostalgia for the hit squads. I can remember owning 1 or 2 of them, but my time on the Spectrum was a bit before the hit squad budget label come out. So it was weird. I sort of got really sucked into the hit squads because they look beautiful when they're all in their case or on a shelf.
Yeah, they do look.
They're all uniform. They're all numbered, perfect for collectors. And then the price of them started to go ridiculously high, and a collector offered me a price for a certain few that I had, which was just, I could not refuse it. So I thought long and hard for a few weeks, and I thought, do you know what? I've got more nostalgia for the original releases of these games than I do the Hit Squad re-release. So I sold it, and now I've gone mad in buying them all, but they're original. So all the Ocean ones, I've got them original. The movie games, I get them original now. That's just how I went, but there is something really appealing about the Hit Squads. And for sort of like for nostalgia, for me, I had more nostalgia for players, because they used to sell them in the newsagents I had a paper round.
Funnily enough, Pixel Blug said that as well. Yeah. And
Kicks as well, yeah.
Exactly. If I was brutally honest, the ones I can remember are the Kicks label. I think the logo for Kicks sticks out to me a lot more.
Yeah.
Just from seeing it in like W.H. Smiths and stuff like that. Like that's what I can remember. But the hit squad is for now, looking at it now, you want something that's really that collectible. The hit squad's just hit that. It's a great set of games. It's a great set of obviously it does look very nice. It is it's a known number, you know what you're going for. It's got that collectability about it for sure. But I am probably also going to go for a Kicks full set as well.
There's a couple of toughy ones on there as well.
Yeah, but there's some real good ones in there as well. I mean, one of my favourite games, Bionic Commando on the C64. That's good.
There's some fantastic games in that collection. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess one of my questions for this would be like, why do you think it's the hit squads in particular? Because you do have all these other budget labels, but more people seem to go for the hit squads. Why hit squads?
Because they believe it's achievable, because there's only about 120 games.
You think that's what it is? Because there's less?
Yeah. Like... Because if you think about it, one of the most nostalgic budget labels for anyone is probably Mastertronic. But you think of Mastertronic, their library is massive. You would be hard pushed to get the whole of Mastertronic, because they branched off into loads of different sort of sister companies, and other publishers were all underneath the Mastertronic.
And I suppose because of that, the hit squads are neat, aren't they, on the shelf? Because they're not with all sorts of different labels, and like the Mastertronic.
Different colours,
things.
Yeah, even with the kicks, there's different variations of the kicks label.
Colour.
So even if you had them all, there's different colors. There's even slightly different designs in the kicks label. Where Hit Squads, they are unmistakably like they're all the same. You know, apart from the literal, you know, whether it's in the arcade collection or the movie collection or sports collection, that's the only thing that changes about them. Otherwise, they're all very uniform. Apart from, is it Batman that's got like a different logo on the side or whatever it is? That's the only one with. I think it's Batman. Yeah.
Yeah. See, like what Paul's saying here, I think people pick up cheap games they remember, then end up with 30 or so, and they think I can do this. Yeah.
That's how most of us start. That's how we all start, isn't it? We get sort of, because I was the same. I was picking up loads of bundles. I had 20, 30 Hit Squad games, and I thought there's only 100 or so of these. This is going to be easy.
and this is why I'm purposely not buying them, because I had quite a few when I was a kid. And this is why I'm not buying them, because I know that the minute I start getting the ones I had as a kid, then it's going to be, I might as well get the rest now then.
Yeah.
You know, and then it'll be, I've got to get Lethal Weapon. Shit, I'm not paying that much money for Lethal Weapon. Forget it. Like, you know, an instant disappointment when you get to that point. I'll be forever, when I'm old, I'll be telling people, I got 122 of them. Like, I never got that last one. I'm not paying that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use your retirement fund.
Yeah. So,
I mean, the worst thing is when you're paying decent money for a game that is actually rubbish, you know.
Yeah.
When you're
I don't think I could do that, actually. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. Like Pit Fighter, for instance, and paying Pit Fighter money, and it's an absolutely awful game.
Right,
How much is Pit Fighter now?
How much is it? Yeah, I was going to ask that.
You're talking 60 quid.
Wow, for a crap game. That's really bad.
This is the difference, because I think when I was collecting it, I think I paid a tenner for Pit Fighter.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. That would have been $2.99 back in the day. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
And you'd have felt robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might have took it back at $2.99. You might have gone, I'm not having this.
I'll be honest, right? I remember when I was younger, I'm pretty sure I nicked one from Woolworths, right? And I felt robbed nicking one from, and that was one I didn't pay for. So I almost took it back and said, I don't want it.
Yeah, you should have done. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Jesus. 60 quid though, man. Like, I don't think I'll be able to get that right in my head. That like
the dearest one I bought, the dearest one I got was Darkman, and that cost me £100.
Yeah, that one is quite.
And at the time, that was the most expensive Spectrum one. The two most expensive Spectrum ones was the Addams Family and Darkman. They were kind of on par with each other. And I paid £100 for Darkman, and I thought, what am I doing? I've just paid £100 for a cassette tape. What am I doing? But now I think that is commanding way more than £100.
Yeah.
I'll just make a Lethal Weapon on the printer at work.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think off the top of my head, but there are probably 5 or 6 without obviously Lethal Weapon. I'll discount that one completely because that is ridiculous money. But there's probably about 5 or 6 which go over 100 quite regularly, and even over 150. You know.
So how much is Lethal Weapon? Is that like £300 or £400 game?
I think Retrobait said to me that I think he last saw one was about 500 quid.
5, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, 500. Yeah.
I wonder if people actually invest in these things that aren't into gaming just because they see it as like a good place to place your money.
Well, I suppose when you think of like Pit Fighter, with the terrible game it is, I suppose that's more of an investment when you look at it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't see it as an investment. I think these will just eventually be worth nothing because it's only idiots like us at this age group that are going to be collecting them.
You could say the same about CDs though, because I mean, eventually they're all going to rot. So we're all wasting money on them, you know. This is why, like now, a lot of the new stuff that's coming out, if I can get it on the Switch, I get it on there because at least with that, you know, the cartridge won't rot. So, you know, we're all kind of doing it to a certain degree.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Jay's put here, you know, great subject to start with, Hit Squad, because has he finished his set yet? I don't think he has.
He finished, did he?
I think we're missing. I know he's missing some in the Commodore set. I don't know if he's going for another set. I know he's close. I think he's pretty close. I think.
So
and that's the other problem that doesn't really get discussed, right? So I know I've gone up against people in bid wars and stuff like that because there is only so many of them. So for instance, when a lethal weapon if lethal weapon surfaces on eBay, it is whoever's got the deepest pockets will win it, because and we all probably know that that's what's going to happen, because I know a number of people now that are after that one to finish the set, and I'm going to be in the same ring. So it is tough, because we're going to end up just bidding each other up essentially until someone breaks.
Well, it was funny. It's funny because I was about to say that there are people that do run other people up, isn't there? So, yeah.
What's Lethal Weapon play like on the C64? Because I remember back in the day, I really liked that on the Amiga.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's not too bad. Yeah,
I've got a feeling that I did have that back in the day, and it makes me sick to the stomach that I had that game and I don't have it now. I'm sure I had that one because if I remember right, I think it plays because you walk along like you kind of do like in Untouchables, isn't it? If I remember right.
Yeah, it's a bit like Navy SEALs and all that.
Yeah. So I think I did have it.
It's got better graphics than Untouchables, though. It's got quite a little small, chunky graphics, and obviously you play as you swap characters when you die, right? You've got basically 2 lives, so but yeah, I remember playing it a lot more on on the Amiga for sure, but also I think it's on the Super Nintendo as well. I remember playing on that.
Ah, yes, I
think you're right. I think it is on there.
I might even own it on the Super Nintendo. Maybe I can squeeze it into a tape.
or maybe you could play it on Monday Night Retro.
That would be good. Yeah.
There you go.
Why don't you get Lethal Weapon on every single system, apart from obviously the Hit Squad?
I reckon I could buy it on every other system for less than what it costs on the Commodore 64. Because I think on the Amiga, I think the Hit Squad, Lethal Weapon on the Amiga, the Hit Squad is literally like 15 quid or something. It's like a super cheap one.
Well, you're gonna have to get it now.
Yeah.
So Paul's just put here Hudson Hawk was better. Yeah, the game might have been, but the film was terrible.
Yeah, Hudson Hawk, the game, actually. I remember when I was collecting the Hit Squads, because that's what I loved about the collecting is there was quite a few games that I discovered that I've never played before. Hudson Hawk was one of them, and I know Martin mentioned this as well. SDI.
That's a brilliant game.
Yeah.
That is another great reason. Like, it has shown me so many games I didn't know existed, because obviously I didn't play when I was a kid. So like that SDI, when you see it, it looks so unassuming. You kind of look at it and go, what is this? This is going to be a rubbish shoot 'em up, I'm sure. And then you play it and you're like, crikey, this is a fantastic game. And it's not an expensive one. I think it's a mid-range one. I think it's again, it's probably didn't sell many because it didn't look like much or well known, but it's a brilliant game. And I've had so many of those moments where I'm just going, actually, this is a cracking game. And that's how I've kind of justified it to myself a little bit, in that I am quite happy today to pay 70 quid for a PlayStation 5 game, right? So I'm therefore should be quite happy to pay that sort of money for a decent game on any system, really. That's what I'm passionate about. So those ones that are in that range, I'm quite cool with. I have bought
the cool thing is I kind of look at it the same, Martin, but with me is when you pay 70 quid for a retro game, you're probably going to get your money back. If not, make a little bit. If you buy a brand new PlayStation 5 game at 70 quid, that's just going to keep going down.
This is true. This is true. Yeah.
So Jay's put here he's got one to go.
One to go. It's got to be the same one, isn't it?
And OSG as well. I think you have to go to a clinic with an SDI.
I did think that sounded a bit dodge.
Yeah.
So I look forward to bidding with the Cyber Snake then when the lethal weapon comes out.
You're both going to cost each other a few more quid, aren't you?
Yeah. So come on, Jay, confirm it for us. Is it lethal weapon? It's got to be in it, surely. And if so, you and Martin will have to come to a gentleman's agreement between you.
We'll have to do like a blind bid. We'll have to do like a blind max bid, and then whoever gets the biggest will just win it. We'll just do that.
So here's a question, because obviously there was Hit Squads on the Amiga as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So, here's my question: are they as desirable on the Amiga?
There's only one person I know going for the full set, and I think he's completed it now, and that's Cine Steve.
Yeah, he likes his Amiga, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
I think the difference with the Amiga hit squads is they were released in so many different size boxes.
Yes.
Like you got the flat sort of boxes.
I had a lot of the flat ones,
yeah. They were released.
Not that, you have to worry about all them discs, though, wouldn't you, as well? Getting the mildew and that on them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want them sat on the shelf.
You wouldn't want to be paying that much money for them. I mean, look how many discs you picked up, Martin, that don't work.
Oh yeah, plenty.
You wouldn't be wanting to go for a full set. I wouldn't have thought.
There is a little bit of me that would like to do it. I don't know why. Yeah.
Do it.
But the problem with it is, obviously, if you get a dead disc, it is dead. If you get a dead tape, you can recover them. You know, there is a way to re-image the tape, which people may frown upon, but they're my tapes, so I don't care. But I have had one that I've brought back to life, and I can't remember which one it was now. It was.
I don't see an issue with that at all, to be honest. I mean, if it don't work, what are you doing that's so wrong? You're not doing anything wrong at all, are you?
Yeah, it wasn't an expensive one, but I just wanted to, see if I could do it. So I bought the adapter for the laptop and stuff, and I went through and I re-imaged the Hit Squad tape, and it worked. So, but obviously with a floppy disk, you can't do that. If the floppy disk is deteriorated, then that's it.
Vindicated, wasn't it? Was it Vindicated?
I think it was. Yeah, it might have been. Yes, that sounds like it.
Yeah, it was.
You did.
Yeah.
So someone's put a Lethal Weapon is expensive on the Amiga Hit Squad too.
Oh wow!
Is it?
He's trying to get hold of it.
That was a cheap one.
Yeah.
Wow. But I mean, this is the thing. Like, you won't want to pay a lot of money for them with the failure rate. Like, I certainly wouldn't want to. How much was it?
This is why, in the end, I can remember a few years ago. Well, I sold my Amiga collection to pay for an Amiga 1200.
Wow.
To get it fully modded out, and everyone was going, "Why are you selling your Amiga collection?" I'm like, because I was paying big money for stuff like R-Type 2 and Monkey Island. The amount of times I had to buy them games because the discs didn't work.
Yeah.
And then you'd try and track down just getting the disc only. That's something I went down, as I'd go and try and just, once I got the box and the manual, I'd try and just get the disc. But it is, I think, out of all of the micros, the Amiga and the Atari ST, that style of disc is just awful, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, my experience has been a lot of failures. You know,
it's less than 50-50, isn't it? You're buying them. And also something I found that was really annoying is I had an Amiga 500 and Amiga 1200. Some of the discs would work in certain setups and not others. Like I'd have an external drive that would run certain discs, and then the main one in the Amiga wouldn't, and I did dumb my head in.
Yeah,
you find that even with some of the tapes as well, because
you do. Yeah,
I think it was when I had Retro Bear on here, he was telling us that he has 2 data sets, and if it doesn't load on one, he plugs the other one in, and it'll load on that, and vice versa.
What I do. I do that with Spectrum Next.
I do it as well.
I have my little personal stereo. Pretty much loads most things. And then I've got 3 others that I use when I'm loading specky games.
Yeah.
That is a huge, I mean, we're going off topic a little bit, but that is definitely a huge benefit to the Spectrum, that you can literally use any tape player, essentially. As long as it's got an audio out, then it just...
There you go.
That is quite cool.
It's the same Walkman.
It's the same one.
I copied Scott because I knew it worked.
Yeah. He went and got one because I said to him, "Do you know what? This barely ever fails me. It always loads them." So
and it is good. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the thing is with the Spectrum, I mean, the whole point of it was to be inexpensive, wasn't it? So he made it so that it would run everything, so that you had the alternative of buying a cheaper like tape deck or whatever.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
You had a choice to make it as cheap as you wanted to make it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it is a good idea. It is. I mean, it's like the other thing I like about the Spectrum is, and even with the Amstrad, although the Amstrad's enormous, is I like the fact that the data set was put into the unit. Like, I wish that Commodore had done that to a certain degree. I do. I'm sorry. I do like that.
No, I like it all being separate.
See a Commodore with a tape deck on the side of it. Whoa!
That's damaged now.
Another one dead. It's another one dead. Good. Kill him off.
This one's already dead.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
Dead, yeah. I killed it. Not just now. I mean, I killed it already.
Yeah, that was the one where you took the power lead out, wasn't it, and then plugged it in while it was still live.
I had one of those Div MMC things.
You pulled it out the back.
Because some games wouldn't load with that in for some reason. So I pulled it out to try and load a game, it was Frank Bruno's boxing. And it wouldn't load anyway, so I pushed it back in. But when I pushed it back in, it just killed it. So obviously fried something. It does say you've got to power it down.
The late ones of those had an on-off switch, so you could turn them off. So you could load the game for it.
Yeah. Right, that would have been better.
Mm.
But yeah, but I found it's as cheap to get a replacement one of a Plus 2 than to get it repaired. So I'll probably just buy another unit only at some point.
Yeah.
I like this. I've seen your comment, Martin. I look forward to our bid war, Cyber Snake.
Yeah.
And then we got Lee saying hello. So say hello.
I'll be putting me Just Eat shares on it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I reckon one of us should buy that lethal weapon and then put Martin and Cyber Snake to do the old IK plus in real life for it.
Yeah.
Oh man. You know what? I'd love to, if I do get hold of Lethal Weapon, it would be great to have a story about it. I don't really necessarily just want to go and buy it from eBay. I'd love to do something where it's never going to happen. But imagine if it did rock up in a charity shop, or you did find it at a boot fair, or you did travel the country to go and buy it from some old lady in, I don't know, wherever. I don't know. It would be great to have something other than I got it off eBay for stupid amounts of money.
I've got a great idea. I think, right, because this would make a great video as well. I think, right, a load of us should all get together, all chip in a bit of money each to get a lethal weapon, right? And then we do a treasure hunt, right? And with clues.
Yeah.
And one person films with Martin, one person films with Jay, and they got to find it. How good would that be?
Janica.
Yeah, like Challenge Janica. Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah. Well, that's a good idea. That we should do that.
It is.
I'm serious.
It is.
We should do this. That would be good.
Be great YouTubing.
Right. Okay.
Look, you've got Lee's thinking now. Nerdy Geezer's up there. He's thinking long and hard about it.
What do you think? Right. I mean, if you think about it like this, 500 quid for a game's a lot of money, but not if you got like 50 people chipping in for it.
Yeah.
Everyone chips in a bit of money each. We get that game, and then we get to watch them two try and find it. That would be hilarious.
I mean, there's probably enough people out there. There's probably enough people out there that you could do like a Squid Games or something. You know, the prize being Lethal Weapon on the Commodore 64, and we all kill each other off until there's only one remaining.
We got the title as well, Squad Game.
Yeah, Squad Game. Right, we are doing this.
This is YouTube gold right there.
Right, we are doing this. This is happening. We are going to do this. I will find a way of this happening. This is happening. I'm glad I'm here. All this very interesting as I'm new to the microcomputers. Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's
at
good.
least you bought the right one.
Oh, yeah. Did she get the Specky then?
Did she? Oh, yeah. She got the right microcomputer. Well done, Joe. You got the right system there.
God.
Yeah.
Mixing with the wrong crowd again, people. Come on.
So having a no-name cassette recorder plugged in a C64 with a real data set looks safer. It does, but I just wish that it was built into the actual system. I think it would have looked nicer. Plus, it's a pain in the ass when you've got to plug all these different bits in.
I do like that bread bin data recorder though for the C64. It looks really nice. That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the aesthetics of the C64. I think it looks like when you've got the disc drive and the tape and it's all separate. Yeah. It's like when you used to get a separate stereo when you were younger. It looks really cool.
I do appreciate the Commodore 64. I do. The games and the music and the SID chip, but I think they're some of the worst looking computers ever. I'm sorry, but I think they look naff.
I think
they look naff.
I think if you're going down the looks route, I mean, like even with the
Spectrum
Spectrums.
wins. Oh.
Yeah, but even with the Spectrums, I would argue that although the 2A is not as compatible, I think the black version looks nicer. Would I be right in saying that, do you think?
No, I like them both. Oh, I think the grey's good as well.
I prefer the 2A. I prefer the black one.
With the Commodores, I think the C64C is nicer than the...
Yes. Oh, 100%.
You know?
That I'll give. Yeah. That's the first one, the original.
The ugly, creamy brown.
I like the red bin.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I've had both.
The C64C is much nicer.
I've had both in the past, and I can say the C is nicer.
Yeah.
Also,
I have that Australian model one now, don't I? I could show it to you in a sec.
Yeah, get that, because we haven't seen that properly on here, have we?
No.
It looks so weird. Like when I saw it, I was like, "What is that?"
What's weird about it then? Oh my god! So it's like
solo layout.
It looks like an Amiga, doesn't it?
Hold it up a little bit, Martin. That's it.
So it's a Commodore 64C, but with bread bin buttons. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and also the sort of this piece here, the panel piece at the back is different as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how that came about. So somebody saw it and said about it, and then you bought it, I think, didn't you, Martin?
It was a local pickup actually, Lee. This was someone in Welling.
Facebook, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, someone in Welling had this. You can see on the back there, South Australia on the label and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing it on the Facebook group marketplace.
Yeah. The only problem it's got is this button here. I've not got. There's no spring for it, so I need to get a Retrobait is going to send me some springs probably sometime next year.
Make sure it's fully working if it's coming from him. Yeah.
Well, you know what he's like.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I mean, like, I've literally never seen one of them before. When it came up on there, because I think we was discussing it in the WhatsApp group, weren't we, all of us? And somebody, I think it was Paul, might have said, "Oh, that's the Australian version." I was like, "Wow." Didn't even realise that version existed, but
I think it was 50 quid, I think, and it came with
it was cheap, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was super cheap. And they had a printer with it as well, a dot matrix Commodore printer as well. So
right, Joe Gaming Girly, what's a really good Spectrum game to get? Right, if you want Homebrew, get Redshift. Trying to think what else. RoboCop.
Renegade, get a pen and paper, Joe. Attic Attack.
Attack, yeah.
Any game done by Ultimate Play the Game, you're not going to be disappointed. They're pretty much all really good.
Nifty Lifty. It's a good game. I like that.
Bruce Lee's a classic on the Spectrum.
Oh, Bruce Lee, yeah.
Good on the C64 there as well, though.
Green Beret, that's a classic on the Spectrum.
What would be better is if they get to the end and found the game and it was Crazy Cars. I don't know. I don't think they'd be too amused about that.
OSG, that's just cruel.
That would be cruel. All the deaths. Just think of all them deaths.
They killed all those people for no reason.
Yeah. Oh, look. There's an Audi C64 too. Really?
What?
Oh, I need to see this.
An Audi C64? What?
Right, hang on. This requires a Google search.
Is that a late April Fool's?
We need to find this. Hang on. Right, I'm talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I'm going to find this.
Old style game. OSG has just said Cobra on the Spectrum. Cobra on the Spectrum is a quality game.
Whatever you do, don't get it on the Commodore.
It's awful on the other micros because it was coded by a different guy on the Spectrum, and it's a brilliant game.
Well,
it's terrible on the C64
now, but that one's definitely should be picking up if you can get it.
Do you know? I've never played that game.
Oh, cracking game!
I like the is Old Towers Homebrew, right? It's not an old game, is it? Old Tower,
yeah, Old Towers is a great homebrew game.
It's a homebrew game, yeah.
That is good on the Spectrum. I'll give
right.
Who wants but it's
that still haven't played it.
You got to play it. It's a really good game.
I don't know why I keep forgetting about it. It's in here somewhere. Oh, there we are.
Who wants to see the Audi C64?
Oh,
so
cool.
Just found a picture. Let's have a look.
What I like about that Old Tower, Tetlee, whilst Lee's looking at that, is it feels like it could be a game released today on the Switch or something. It just plays that well. It's really, really good.
So that's it there.
I think I've seen you streaming it, Martin.
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing it's Audi as in Audi the shop.
Really? What, Audi sold Commodore 64s?
Well, no. I mean, don't forget, like, I mean, I'm sure I heard Paul say this before, that a lot of C64s were made in Germany.
Yeah, Audi.
Audi's a German company. In fact, actually, it's technically two German companies because the two brothers fell out and split into two separate companies.
But from the 80s?
They've been around years.
Audi was going in Germany way before.
Oh, okay.
They have been going for years. Long time. Okay.
So I guess I always just assumed it was one of these kind of new pop-up brands from, you know.
So basically what they did when they had a fallout, they split the company in two. So they've literally split Germany in half. So you've got Audi Nord, which is north, and Audi Sud, which is south, right? And then America, they've got half of that each. So one brand's in one, one's in the other. The logo looks a little different. And like, for example, they split Europe. So the one we've got is Audi Sud. Audi Sud. So I could quite believe that they did do something like this because, like I say, like Paul said before, that a lot of them, and in fact, I think he's saying it in the chat now, actually. Yeah, there, look, because Audi sold it. Yeah, in Germany they did.
Martin is really looking right now on eBay, seeing where he can get an Audi Commodore 64 from.
Isn't it interesting, though?
Did you know, Martin, that there was a Tesco Commodore 64?
Well, wouldn't it be funny if there was?
If you got a club card.
Oh, no.
Card from 1980.
Oh, 8-bit Rach is here. How you doing, Rach? Yeah, interesting. I mean, it looks quite nice, actually. I've got to be honest, because it kind of looks like your original bread bin, but it's the lighter grey with the lighter grey cables. Definitely,
it's actually really nice looking. Actually, it's 200. Yeah. There's one for 180 quid.
See, where you'd get a limited edition sort of Sinclair Spectrum in John Lewis or Waitrose, wouldn't you? But you know, the Commodore was in Audi. Oh, the Commodore should really have been in Happy Shopper, shouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's it. I'm out of here.
So Paul's just said here that the G is better looking, he thinks. So was another Spectrum.
Yeah, Saber Wolf is awesome on the Spectrum. Yeah,
I've recently acquired that. Acquired that because wasn't it you, Tetlee, that said about it was cheap, and I was like, "Oh, I'll have that."
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was.
There, didn't I?
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, someone should grab this. This is really cheap." Like, and I was like, "Right, I'll have that." Yeah.
I think they were giving Spectrums away with £5 worth of petrol.
The funny thing is, they probably were. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
SO used to give everything away with petrol, didn't they?
Yeah, you used to get your little, your Tiger tokens
and Texaco as well.
Green Shield stamps, wasn't it?
Do you remember how many you had to get a T-shirt? Though, I mean, who wanted a T-shirt? Yeah, really. Anyway, we're going off on a tangent here.
We are.
Right, let's get rid of that. There we go. I'm back to this. Right. Okay. Should we move into another topic because we've been on hit squads for quite a while now. Right, let's go with one of Tetlee's when I can find it. Where's it gone? Here we go. Foreign released games. Or foreign only released games. So when you mentioned this topic, there was one that sprung to mind straight away. And my one was this one. And that's actually one of my favourite games, and that's Space Taxi, because it was only released in the US. It was never released over here.
It's a great game. It's a great game.
It's a really good
I take it
game.
that's C64 only, is it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, really
they
good.
They did release it on later systems, but it was called something else. They slightly changed the name on it. And it was, a little bit different. What's that? The speech. Yeah, that was what I loved about it. When I played it back in the day, because I had cases of copied games back in the day, and I remember when I first put it on, and kind of like what Paul says about Impossible Mission, you hear the speech and you're like, wow, like I'd never heard a game talk before. I mean, like I say, Paul says the same about Impossible Mission, but for me, it was Space Taxi, and such a good game. And it's interesting because I hate thrust. But obviously, the thrust mechanic is in this game.
Love thrust. Yeah,
I hate thrust. I can't stand it.
On a beep.
But I like Space Taxi, so it's an interesting one. But yeah, good game. So, anything you can think of, guys, like games that you liked, or that were only released abroad or in the US?
I've cheated a little bit, right? Because what I didn't realize until recently is that different versions of games were released. So, for instance, I've just done a Hit Squad update, and in that I was talking about Afterburner.
Right.
And someone put in the comments, "Oh, the US version of Afterburner is far superior to the UK version of Afterburner." And I had no idea that why would it not be the same game? But it does seem to be there's quite a few games. And actually, OSG's done a video on it. If you go to OSG's channel, he's got a video on America releases versus UK releases. And yeah, Afterburner is completely different. Same with Outrun. US, I think there's an Outrun. Well, Scott, you might know that, but there's the C64 version of Outrun in the UK is totally different to the one in the US. So
yeah, they done that with a lot of the Commodore stuff, I think, because it was it was a big market in America.
Yeah,
I think they had different developers releasing the games. Exactly, they were owned by different, because obviously the Sega license was different in Europe, published out differently here than it was in America.
Yeah. Yes, if you play the US version of Afterburner, it is and I've now, since that comment, I went and checked it out, and yeah, it is way better than the UK version of Afterburner. It's a lot more polished. There's a lot more. It's definitely worth checking out. And so I don't know how many games were like that, but say OSG did do a video on it, and I think there is quite a few where we didn't get the same release as what the US got. So yeah.
So OSG's put, I think Jumpman was too. Does he mean only US released or?
Yeah.
8-Bit Rage. Hello, 8-Bit Rage. Cool. I also checked that out. Yeah. So Scott, any you can think of? I mean, I know you like Space Taxi, same as I do.
Yeah, I do. From a Spectrum standpoint, what's interesting is a lot of games that were released here on budget labels were actually sort of like Spanish and a lot of European games. And a developer that I really do like is Dynamic. I think they make some cracking games. Some of them were released here, but I can't think of one specific game. But I think the Dynamic label, they done many games like After the War, a game I done a video on recently, the Commando game, Last Commando. There's some cracking games by Dynamic. And most of their games were released here on budget labels. So it's a bit different with the Spectrum. Because a lot of the games did make it here. I suppose you got the Homebrew stuff. There's a lot of Homebrew games that are developed in
Spain.
I know
Russia.
with all over. Especially the Spectrum Next games I'm playing, that Shovel Adventure and the Lost Temples.
We've got to talk about them later on when we get the Homebrew. We'll talk about that. Yeah, good games. Well, at least I mean they looked good from what I see on your videos. Tetlee, anything you can think of? Because obviously it was your topic.
I've got a few, which is what sort of made me think of it. And I've been looking, there's quite a lot more. I mean, apart from your sort of homebrews, which there's just a couple of like the homebrew ones. Don't know if they're focusing in or not.
Let me put you on. There you go.
So that's just some of the sort of Spanish homebrew ones.
Tokimo, yeah.
Two of those were from, looks really grainy, the image. Two of those are sort of Pat Morita games, which Scott was just mentioning just now.
What's that ninja looking one?
Ninja Call 2. I need to do a video about one. It's a really cool game, but you've got it's quite complicated controls because you can't use joystick and it's got several keys, and I'm really bad at using a lot of keys on it. So but I'm going to try because it is a really nice looking game. I don't know if you'll be able to see the screenshot or not. But
yes,
probably
very tiny. Yeah,
it's really small. But yeah, I will try and do a video of it at some point. But I did a video of this one, I think, which is really good. Botanic. That's a Spanish guy. Boo Boo, he's called. He's done a few.
Okay, and he's
that
gone with the...
was an actual Spanish arcade game. That one.
Oh, right.
He's gone with a traditional looking cover.
Yeah. Then I've got a couple of sort of older games, which that one there I mentioned the other day.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that in a video, didn't you?
You done a video on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I haven't done a video of it yet. It was in my pickups vid, but I will do a video at some point. It's quite a hard game, so I need to get a little bit better.
Carlos Sainz Senior, of course, his son is a Formula One driver for Ferrari.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the and plays a bit like as well the what is that is it Galeco or something? Galeco, the arcade machines.
Galco, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like that rally game. Well, rally.
Wow, that looks awesome.
The CPC version of it is absolutely incredible. That really is.
So they weren't Spectrum shots on the back of it.
Yeah.
Couple more Spanish ones.
Why am I laughing?
Exactly. It's because you know, Scott. You know.
Yeah,
that's a good cover as well.
That's
I like this.
Pac-Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Pac-Man clone, that one. Looks really nice.
I like what OSG's put here as well. What about Commando released in Germany? Yeah, it was called Space Invasion because it wasn't allowed to.
Was it really?
They weren't allowed
people,
any
were they?
war. They weren't allowed
were
any
really
war
funny, weren't
games. Yeah.
Well, they
last
kind
one
of had a reason to be, didn't they? Let's be honest. Oh yeah, that's the sequel to Game Over, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how we're sold on games by cover art versus the actual games? So many games. That looks so cool, and I bet the game isn't that.
Did you think that was the sequel to Game Over? So what was that game?
Game Over 2, effectively.
Oh, Game Over 2. Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
I mean that was back when artwork was really good on games and all, wasn't it? You know, don't get artwork like that anymore. Well, especially considering
you take me off full screen.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, especially considering we lost a great artist last year, didn't we? So
yeah,
artwork, especially on gaming magazines, never going to be the same again, is it?
That'll have to be a question for next time, Lee. What cover art was the most disappointing game behind? Like what? Yeah, because you must have picked up a game and gone, "My God, that looks amazing!" And then when you got it home, it was absolutely awful. There's got to be a number of them out there, surely.
Oh, I'm just thinking because I think that happened a lot to me back in the day. I'm sure it did. Yeah.
Especially when there were games, because some games didn't even have screenshots. You flip the tape over and it would just be text or something, and you'd be like, "Oh, God, it must be good. Look at the front of it. It must be amazing." And then it wasn't.
Yeah. I just remember buying every single game that had a ninja on it. If it had a ninja on the front cover, I had to buy it. And some of them were just horrendous.
Me and you are very similar in that respect because I would have done exactly the same. Yeah. I like
3.
what Paul's put here. Renegade 3. He's already named his one.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's hundreds. Yeah, there is hundreds. Yeah, there really is. Great cover art. Had a complete dog in the case. Yeah.
It's how they sold it, wasn't it? It's how you sold a game.
Well, yeah, this is it. I mean, you know, that and the lying screenshots on the back that were either arcade or Amiga.
I guess.
The
Master System was the system that sort of changed it, right? Because the Master System did actually put the cover art was the game in some respects, wasn't it? It was a real representation of what the game looked like on the Master System.
Yeah,
right?
True. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, my eldest just rocked up. Like, what time should you call this, Carl? Started an hour ago. I think he's been working. He's earning a bit of pocket money, I think, at the moment. That's probably why. Right. Let's have a look, see what our next topic is. This one's a good one. This one. We're all going to have an answer for this one. Probably several answers. 8-bit micro failures that need a reboot. Right. So I'm going to kick this one off. I'm going to kick this one off. And this one.
Yeah.
This one definitely needs a reboot, right? And I know Paul's in the comments. I know what he's going to be saying. He's going to be going, it's a helicopter that don't bloody hover. Like, I mean, come on. Like, you had one job one job to get a helicopter to hover. You know, something that all helicopters do, and you couldn't get it done. Like, please do a reboot.
The Flappy Bird mechanics.
Yeah, fix this game. Bring it out as a homebrew. Bloody Airwolf. We all loved Airwolf. We got this game, and we all wanted to tear our own eyes out. Like, fix this problem.
Crash Smash. I see on the front there.
What's that? Crash. Yeah,
Smash on the front. Do you know? I never realised that was a Crash Smash. How did they give it that?
Yeah. Well, do you know the funny thing is, I actually got this from Martin, right? So Martin had a spare, and I said, "Oh, can I have that?" And he went, "It's a terrible game." I went, "Yeah, but that's why I want it, because I do have a kind of affinity for bad games." A few years back, I started a series called "This Game Sucks," and this is definitely going to end up on that at some point. So, because it's a terrible game, but I mean, there's many more. I mean, easiest way I think for me to answer it in terms of Amstrad is probably most games on the Amstrad, because there were really bad ports from Speckies, weren't they? So I think a lot of games you could probably throw into that category on the Amstrad. But others were Chase HQ on the C64. Terrible game, really bad. In fact, you could probably count a lot of racing games really on the C64, I'd say. So yeah, that's some of mine. Martin, what have you got?
Mine's going to be this game, because I think it could be done really well. I think the universe it's in is really good. I rewatched the film recently to reaffirm that I actually like the world it's in, and it's Nightbreed on the Commodore 64. I think there could. I just think it could be done well. Like even the game itself could be good, but the controls are awful, the actual fighting's awful, you don't know what you're doing. But the variety of creatures in it, the film, all that stuff you've got there, I think you could make a really good game out of that sort of world. And no one else has done. I don't think there's been another Nightbreed. I think there was like an adventure game for Nightbreed.
There was two different, when that come out, there was two. There was the action game and the adventure game, if I remember right. Yeah.
But I just think in the right hands now, with the homebrew scene and all the rest of it, someone could make a really cool Nightbreed game, because it is obviously, the movie is a bit of a cult classic now. I think it bombed a bit when it first came out, but now it's looked at as a bit of a for me, of all the games I've played collecting the hit squads, because obviously this is one, this one I felt like, oh man, it could be a great game, just they just didn't they didn't give it the time it needed to do it well. So yeah, that was my main one, was Nightbreed. Great idea, poorly executed. Yeah. And unfortunately, you could say that about a lot of games. They feel rushed. They were rushed. Let's face it. And I think a lot of them, they went back and even Red Heat, right? Like there's a lot of the especially in the movies collection for Hit Squads. There's a lot in there that are like, oh man, you could make a really good game out of that, because the source material is really good. It's, and if you just took time, you could do something really interesting with it. And look at Terminator 2, for Christ's sake, and they just didn't. So but for me, I think Nightbreed is something that could be done well if.
Well, in fact, somebody named one earlier on saying it was good on the Spectrum, and that was Scott. Cobra. That was terrible on the C64, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. That is
bloody
really
awful game.
It's a great game on the Spectrum, but hasn't got anything to do with Cobra the film. Not a lot.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's a question for another stream.
The good thing. It's probably a good thing.
It should be a question for another stream. Now, how many games did you buy that had nothing to do with the film?
You wonder if they developed the game and then just picked up a license and just sort of tacked it on there, don't you? With some of the ones like
that. Yeah, without a doubt, they definitely did that with some games, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, it's like, what, this franchise is good, just slap that on it, that'll do. And in most cases, it worked.
Yeah.
But Scott.
With me, I can remember back in the day. See, one of my favourite films of all time is Big Trouble in Little China. I love that film.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
When the game hit, I was, I'd already played the likes of RoboCop and Operation Wolf and all these games I loved. And I thought Big Trouble in Little China, my favourite film, is getting a game. I can remember going out and getting that on launch or when it first come out. And my God, was I shocked. It was awful. Again, you don't know what you're doing. It's just a rushed mess.
Yeah.
And that's a game, I think, it's a film that would make a tremendous game as well. All the different set pieces in it. It's crying out to have a really good game. And I think with me, I think just for the sheer disappointment back in the day, because there's loads of Spectrum games that ain't great, but I think one of the most disappointed I was Big Trouble in Little China.
Do you know what you just say now? It's just reminded me of another one. Was it you, Martin, that played Thundercats on one of your Monday night retros?
Yeah.
That was bloody awful and all, wasn't it? Yeah.
I have a soft spot for that. Yes, it's not great, but I can remember using my imagination.
Yeah. I will say though, there's another YouTuber I think called Cheeky Commodore or something. He does like literally a review every day. He pumps out so many videos, and he did a video on Thundercats, and it's just you need to play it right. It's actually it looks okay if you play it like a madman. If you start the game and just start running in one direction and hitting things as you run and you don't stop, he actually showed you can get through the game. Like when I first played it, I died within the first 2 screens because everything just baddies just never stop coming. They just keep coming into and killing you. But if you play it at the same speed and just run like a lunatic and hit everything on the way, you can actually get through the game. So I think sometimes I just probably wasn't playing it as the game wanted me to play it. It's still awful in my opinion, but it showed that it can be played.
Well, Pixel Plug has just put Back to the Future. Now I remember this one. A lot of people.
That was another disappointment. Yeah.
Now this one stands for itself, right? Oh Christ! It's just jumped. Hang on. This one. If you're buying that, you should be expecting to be disappointed, really, shouldn't you? Like, come on, who bought that game thinking it was going to be good? Come on.
There was actually an EastEnders game on the Spectrum as well.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Well, I literally just showed them my last video. Spitting Image, the game.
Yes, Spitting Image. Yeah.
I was actually surprised when Martin showed that. I was like, I didn't even know that was on it. Squad, that game. Like, I didn't remember that. But yeah.
OSG. I was sitting here trying to think what the original Thundercats game was, and OSG's answer that was Beyond the Ice Palace.
Well, this is another one. Did people know that Bomb Jack 2 was originally meant to be a Thundercats game?
I know they used a lot of the stuff from that, didn't they, to make Bomb Jack 2? Yeah.
Well, when you look at it, Bomb Jack looks like Lion-O, and the music playing in the background is Thundercats. Yeah. So basically, I think if I remember right, they lost the license or something, and so they just turned it into Bomb Jack.
Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with Bomb Jack at all.
They could have called it Thunderjacks, couldn't they?
Well, they should have called it a steaming pile of turds because it was shit. It was terrible. Terrible game. Like, honestly, if any of you guys try playing it, it's horrendous. Like, I'm sure Paul or OSG will back me up. It's a terrible game.
Yeah.
I must have erased it from my memory because I had it, but I can't remember. But I know it's not one to pick up again. Yeah.
I mean, look, Thunderpants. Yeah, see? Yeah, it says it all. Yeah.
One I did start playing today, actually, I didn't know about it, was Blade Runner on the Commodore 64, which I will have to record the music for you because it sounds freaking awesome. But the game's a little bit, but I didn't know there was a Blade Runner game on the Commodore 64, but there is. And it actually
as well, I think. I remember rightly.
Yeah, you start off with a top-down view of like a mega city, and you're sort of making your way through it, and then you have to go to locations of a replicant. And once you get to that bit, it switches to a side-on view, and you're chasing a replicant through the streets, and you've got to dodge people so you don't bump into people. Or if you run into the road, you can be hit by a car, and you're trying to catch replicants. And the music in the game is fantastic. It is really, really good. But
nice.
I've not got any further than that, so it may be not very good. But just thought I'd throw it out there as a game that I didn't even realise was on it. But
this I completely forgot until Rach just said this.
A-Team on the C64 has Star Wars music.
Yes, I completely forgot about it. Like Tetlee, I must have put this out of my mind back in the day.
I didn't know there was an A-Team game on the C64.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and it looks bad in all areas as well, if I remember right. Even like the shots.
Maybe you are a replicant, Lee, and that's why your memory got erased.
Yeah. I think it's like the childhood trauma. I've just put it out of my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I remember right, even like the graphics were bad on that as well. Yeah, look, OSG, that's an abomination. Yes, I couldn't agree more. I can't work out how they got confused. I don't think they got confused. I think they just tried it on. I imagine they probably couldn't get the rights to the A-Team music. Although saying that, I'm surprised they got the rights to the Star Wars music. So, yeah. Worst game ever. Yes, totally agree. Back to the Future on the C64 was a total missed opportunity. Well, yes. Yeah. That's the thing. I got to be honest. Thinking about it, most Back to the Future games were bad, weren't they? I mean, Back to the Future 2, I mean, I can't remember if it was any good on the Amiga, but I remember a mate of mine had it on the Atari ST, and that was shocking. Shocking game on that. A bit when you're on the hoverboard.
Back to the Future game on, I can't remember if it's the NES or it might be the Famicom, or it's the PC Engine, and that's really good. It's like a platformer. That's a good game.
Oh, okay. So at least there was one that was.
One of them wasn't it? The second one wasn't too bad. I seem to remember.
It was a little bit better than the. It was better than the first one.
It was the second one I was thinking of. It's terrible on the ST though. It's not good on the ST. But yeah, because a mate of mine had it on the ST.
I finished Back to the Future 3 on the Mega Drive. I made it my goal because that game is like rock hard.
Rock hard, yeah. Especially that first bit on the horse.
I finished it. Yeah, I finished the whole game.
Not a game you'd expect to be rock solid, is it?
It's really hard, that game. It's so annoying.
Like because I had it back in the day, and I remember reacquiring it in a bundle and putting it on, and instantly remembering. Yeah, now I remember why I didn't play this game.
Yeah,
like the minute I started playing, it's like, yeah, this is why I didn't play this much because it was crap. Like it was really hard. I know that my
but they made it really hard just because there's only something like about 4 or 5 levels, and they're short.
Yeah,
so they make the game so hard. Instead of putting the effort into actually making a lengthy game, so you just can't finish it.
I know that my 12, 13-year-old self would have been like, I'm not playing this, or I'm going to launch you across the room sort of thing, Yeah. But, Tetlee, so 8-bit micro failures.
There'll be a couple, actually. The first one would be kind of an obvious one. I'm surprised it hadn't been mentioned. That was Outrun on the Specky.
See, the thing is, so much Outrun on the Specky, if you put it through your Next and you speed it up, that plays a hell of a lot better.
I would argue that Outrun, was it better on the C64? I mean, it was pretty bad.
No.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, which one's really worse there? Because, that wasn't great either.
So, Outrun on the Spectrum went so slow.
It could be a good game, couldn't it? That Specky's capable of it, but it just, I don't know what went wrong with that one.
It was to do with time scale. They didn't have the time. Yeah. They weren't given the time to make it run sort of smoother.
Yeah.
Next one I'd mention would be this one, which C64 had a great version of that. The Specky port.
Oh, Pac-Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, again, could have been better. The early screenshots of that game looked really good in the magazines, and then it just they sort of downgraded it. They downgraded it when they released it. And I think it came out about a year later than the C64 one.
It did, didn't it? Yeah, it got a delayed release on the Spectrum.
You know why it is? They probably released like an early bit on the demo, and it's like, Christ, we're never going to fit all that on a tape. We need to make it crappier. Probably. Well, that's probably what's happened, didn't it? They realised they weren't going to fit it on there. I like what Paul's put here. Coders of the A-Team game, day before deadline. We haven't started the A-Team game. Let's just push any old shit out. I love it.
And nick the Star Wars music.
Yeah. The US version. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, OSG's done a video on Commodore 64 games that were released in both the US and the UK, or Europe, and how different the versions are. It's well worth checking out because there are some stark differences. And it's not always the US got a better version. There are some that are back the other way, but it is interesting to see how different some of the games were compared to the other regions' releases. It's well worth taking a look.
We are seeing some great stuff now in the homebrew scene. Yes, we certainly are, and we'll get to homebrew near the end.
A lot of these games as well that we're talking about, like I could have mentioned stuff like Kung Fu Master. That's been redone for the Spectrum. I know.
Oh yeah, that's
good game.
I know that Ghouls and Ghosts, I think it is, that's been redone for the Commodore 64.
It's really good as well.
Oh, that's the arcade type one, isn't it? That got redone, isn't it? Yeah.
And something else I was going to mention, I think there might be a remake on the way because I saw something pop up on my YouTube feed. Is Double Dragon on a Specky?
Oh, they need
might be a new one being done.
They need to redo that on all the 8-bit micros, I think, because that game wasn't good on any of them. Yeah, C64. I'm telling you, when I bought that, because I only ever had played it on the arcade at that point, and then when I got my Commodore, it was the first game I rushed out and bought. And I remember getting it back, and I was well disappointed. Like that, like honestly, if I had have had a lighter fluid at that age, I probably would have set it on fire. I was so pissed off. You know, like I'd wasted money on it. It was terrible. It was nothing like what I'd been. You know. And that was another one where they lied with the screenshots on the back. You know, I was pissed. Yeah.
I think the real famous one, and it's where things started to change a little, was Nemesis on the Spectrum. What that was shown to look like in the magazines.
Well, that's Gradius, isn't it? Nemesis, isn't it?
Yeah. But on the micros, it's known as Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah.
The Spectrum port of that was like the magazines were given different games to what was actually being made, and that caused loads of controversy back in the day.
Oh, I can quite believe it. Yeah, so they were basically ranking it on a demo that was complete nonsense, and
that still goes on though, doesn't it, to an extent? Because don't you remember Ubisoft were known for that, weren't they? Were like Watch Dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just put here
all like the pre-footage.
RoboCop's getting redone on the Amiga and looks awesome. And of course, they redid it on the C64 not so long ago to fix the problem with the glitched out level, didn't they?
You couldn't finish it, could you, on the 64?
Yeah, on one of the levels, I forget which, it's one of the later ones, it basically glitches out. Yeah. So you can't tell where you've got to go.
Yeah, I think the Hit Squad version is not fixed. Like the Hit Squad, I think there was a later release of it that was fixed, but I think the one on the Hit Squads is not fixed.
In one of your Monday night retro.
I completed it on the Amiga the other day.
Yeah, the Amiga one I think is okay. I don't think there's an issue with that one.
I can't wait to play RoboCop on Amiga redone. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny
about that pack out there. Is that can you buy the it was unreleased one? Are they going to re-release that or not? I didn't know about that. There was a good version of it.
So the one that got released was terrible. That's typical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did they do that? Like, why would you release the one that's crap? I don't understand it. You know, it's almost as questionable as some of the things that Disney do. You know, like I just don't understand it. Like, why would you do it to yourself? Like, bring out a terrible product.
You still can't finish RoboCop on the fixed one. You got to have a hack.
Oh, really? I thought they completely fixed it. Oh, no. That's not good. I don't know if you noticed, actually. You know, when I did the Retro Realm video, Scott, did you notice the music I played when I was showing? Yeah, that was RoboCop on the C64. Yeah. Some games that weren't as in work in progress. Yeah, right. Okay. Right. Okay, let's go into another topic. I've just got to find where this is the one. What's your favourite arcade conversion on the micros? Now, my one's probably no surprise to anybody, but just in case you're not sure, here's a clip of my one. I can't help but move my head to that music, right? I don't care what anybody says. That is the best version of Bubble Bobble, hands down. I don't care. Everybody else is wrong. Like, no matter what I've tried to play it on, it's just never the same. It doesn't sound as good as the C64. And that's because that's the one I first played. So I don't care. I don't care what anyone else says. You're all wrong. So, but yeah, so
I think at least that's one game where everyone got a decent version of it. I think, didn't they?
Yeah, there isn't a bad port of that game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But yeah, I've got a few others on here. So, Ghosts and Goblins. It's another one I enjoyed. Hard game, but good nonetheless. I always did like that. Another one of the early ones I played on my Commodore, actually. Paperboy. I mean, did that have any bad ports? I'm not sure that did either, did it?
I don't think so.
So limitations, I would say, with Paperboy. The Amstrad version plays really well, but it's got no sound and it's in a tiny little screen. Yeah, but it looks and plays great. But yeah, no, I can't say I was a fan of Paperboy on the micros. I thought they were better. That was a better console game, to be fair.
Here's one though, Gauntlet. I thought Gauntlet was pretty good.
Yeah,
you know, that wasn't a bad arcade port. So now these ones were good. I mean, I'd argue that one of these was probably good on nearly everything, which was R-Type. I liked the Amiga one especially. I thought the Amiga one was very good. Now this one, Super Hang-On, I thought that was pretty good on the Amiga as well.
That was good on Spectrum as well.
Yeah. Super Hang-On is cracking game on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, like, on the Amiga, like, the graphics were very close to what you got arcades, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit smaller, maybe, but the sound was really good as well. That was the other thing about it. But yeah, so that's some of mine. What you guys got, Martin?
Well, one of my favourite games on the Commodore 64 is Midnight Resistance. And that was for me, that's a fantastic conversion of the arcade. This was my Contra. I never play, obviously I know it's called Grisor on Commodore 64, but I played this all the time as a kid. This is one of my favorite games because it was in the Night Moves pack as well, right? So that's where I got it from originally. I don't think I ever originally owned it but yeah, this plays, if you've not played it, this plays fantastically well on the Commodore 64. It's a great game. It is a multi-load. That's probably the only downside if you've got it on tape, but thankfully I also own it on disc. And then obviously I knew people would mention R-Type, but another great arcade shooter I think is Salamander.
Yes, cracking game.
I
love Salamander.
I think the music in this is just amazing. And well, Retrobait should be kicking himself because he didn't get it in the quiz when he was on. This was in the music round and he got it wrong, so
I've always wondered why that had a different name on the Nintendo, because it was called Life Force, wasn't it, on the Nintendo?
Yes. Yeah.
Never could understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good game.
But it's a really, if you've not played this on the Commodore, then you should definitely do that. And then another one I really enjoyed was Cable. And I think these all do. So things like, Cable.
Yeah.
Cable.
I love that in the arcade.
I also think,
good game.
Yeah,
I've got the original arcade of that, Cabal. I've got the original arcade PCB. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a game I really like, yeah.
Yeah, but I also think things like the Operation Wolf games and stuff like that, they work really well on the Commodore 64. They play great. So, but this one again, that's what I know. I keep picking up hit squads, but that's because that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm playing through them all, so I'm finding all these gems again. And these three they've been fantastic to go back to and play. And they're great arcade conversions, I think, on the Commodore for sure.
Scott.
Well, I think with the ZX Spectrum, this is where you're really spoilt for choice, because I think it's where the Spectrum shines through.
That's true.
Is with the arcade conversions and ports. You can't beat it, and there's so many. You've got Bomb Jack, that is amazing on the Spectrum. You've got Green Beret, that game is amazing on the Spectrum. R-Type, it's a 48K game. And how that runs on a ZX Spectrum is magic. That is absolutely magic how that game runs. There's so many games. You've got Enduro Racer. That is actually better on the Spectrum than it is in the arcade. Pixel Plug mentioned Chase HQ. That game again, stunning on the Spectrum.
One of mine.
Operation Wolf, what OSG has just put there.
Yeah.
That game absolutely blew my mind back in 87, 88 when that come out. That is a tremendous arcade port on the Spectrum.
I like that on the Amiga. I thought it was good on that.
Yeah, there's something about the Spectrum is it takes an arcade game and it makes it its own thing on the Spectrum. Like, yes, Operation Wolf doesn't look as good on the Spectrum as it does on Amiga, but it's the gameplay. It's something they do.
Yeah.
And the same with Chase HQ. That game is an amazing game on its own right, just on the Spectrum.
I think I know the answer to that, right? It's because this is the thing with the Spectrum. They know that they can't compete graphically, so they concentrate on the gameplay.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. See, that's how it is that they pull it off. They've literally just concentrating on one thing, gameplay, and that's all that matters.
And there was something with the Spectrum as well, is its detail, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know, like, you've got like very primary colors, monochrome, but the detail, the attention to detail on the Spectrum is what I really appreciate. Like OSG again, Rastan on the Spectrum. What a game.
Yeah, I will say for the Spectrum, when they play to the Spectrums, that sort of Iana is for me a huge example of where the Spectrum shines, because they play to its strengths. They don't try and go for texture or color or like color. It's just done so well. It looks that game. I don't think I could get that on the Commodore 64. Like, it just wouldn't. It wouldn't look as smooth and as slick, the movement and all the rest of it. Because they just play. Once someone knows how to program for that system, they can do really cool stuff. So
same with back in the day, like Jim Bagley, what he done. Like Martin, what you said there, you picked out Cabal and Midnight Resistance. What he done with those games back in the day on the Spectrum. He made them their own game. It was really cool. I think they're great as well.
Yeah, one of the best episodes I think we ever did of Micromaniacs was when he jumped in. We wasn't expecting him. He was in the chat and he come on and he was telling us that he coded them on a rubber keypad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing that got me, and I was like, mate, how the hell did you do that? Like, yeah, crazy.
Drugs.
Games. Must have been something like that. Yeah. You know?
Lots of drugs.
No wonder he loves the keyboard on his Specky deck.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get him on again at some point, because obviously he's a fountain of knowledge as well. Like last time he was on here, we had some really good conversations. That's why the Spectrum is best on most of the Dizzy games. Oh God, Dizzy games! Don't even get me started. I hate them games.
It's size to them.
I mean, like for example, at one point, when I was buying the Evercade carts, I was going for all of them, and I bought the Oliver Twins one. I had no intentions of playing it because I hate them games. It was just because I wanted it for the set.
You know what? I used to love the Dizzy games, but I don't have patience for that type of game anymore.
Yeah, I can't play them now.
I didn't like them back in the day. Honestly, I didn't like them back in the day.
You know what else I don't have time for really is it's sad really, but like this sort of Jet Set Willy type games, I just don't have a patience with them anymore. So loads of those old games I can pick back up, but those sort of brutal 2D platformers, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
The thing is with Dizzy is you go endless screens and you pick up an item and you drop it because you can only hold so many, and then you go all the way back and you're like, oh no, I needed that. Yeah. So then you got to go all the way back again.
They were the precursor to your point and click adventures, right? They were before you had Monkey Island and Simon the Sorcerer and all that sort of stuff. So if you like point and click adventures now, you probably would like Dizzy's back in the day, because they just crossed from platformers into these adventure games, didn't they? So I do remember playing them when I was younger. OSG's video did, because this is what happens. I go, oh, that looks really good. Now I want to buy them. So I probably, there's a cart you can get which has got all the Disney games on it, and I might pick that up just to go and check them out again, because I'm a sucker. That's why.
Yeah.
You always got your value for money out of your Dizzies, though, didn't you? I mean, when you had loads of time and you sort of playing games, so the sort of £2-3 whatever they were, they keep you going for ages.
Oh, it's crazy to think they were budget releases, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have paid someone to take the Dizzy games away from me, to be honest.
Did you hate it back then, did you?
Yeah, I hated them back then. I remember
when I loved them back in the day.
I felt gutted that I actually paid for the first one. Like I remember loading it up and thinking, "What the hell is this?" Like honestly,
Lee, have a look at OSG's. Have a look at OSG's comment.
Brilliant.
That is really funny. I like that.
They were the precursor to later in life when your wife sends you a Lidl and you get back home without what you went for. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That explains a lot about OSG. Yeah. Yeah. So, arcade conversions, Tetlee.
Well, one of them's already been mentioned, which was it's kind of an obvious one because I think everyone loves that. I picked up some of the boxes here, the old Chase HQ.
Yeah,
I mean, we were lucky on the spec. I didn't realise the C64 had a bad version of that until quite recent.
Nothing about the C64 version is good at all. Like literally nothing. Even the look of it, like, they couldn't even get that right.
I think the Specky was so perfect because all the gameplay was there, the graphics were there, all the details, and then you even had a bit of speech and everything else. And you just thought, really, you just feel like there's nothing else they could have packed in there to improve it. And it's not very often that you can sort of, there's always something you think, oh, but I wish they'd done this, or I wish they'd done that. But literally had everything in that version. And next one.
Oh, hang on, let me put you on.
Flying Shark.
Great show.
Oh, yeah. Good game, good game.
Cracker. Really was. Yeah. I don't know how the other versions of that were either, but Specky one was brilliant.
Yeah.
Then, of course, not just because the arcade cab, but Pac-Mania. That was great on the Specky as well. I don't know if everyone played that.
See, I'm just thinking, actually, you collecting all Pac-Man clones, and then you go and buy a Pac-Man one-up as well. I mean, you've really gone to town, haven't you?
I know.
Like,
it was kind of cool.
Pac-Man
I wasn't actually planning. And then lastly, this is quite a basic game, but bloody brilliant.
Oh, cracking game.
Yeah.
I don't know where I forgot that, because that's one of my favourite games on the C64. How did I forget that one?
Is that good on all of
it? If Retrobate's there, he'll be happy now someone said that. So.
I can't believe I didn't mention it, but the thing was the C64, the version I got on tape, it glitches. Whereas the version I've got, because I got a tape cart off of OSG, the version on there is the fixed version. They fixed it. Yeah, it glitches out a little bit on the original tape. Like, OSG will probably tell you himself.
But as Scott said, there were so many. Like, we could literally, like, Rainbow Islands, New Zealand story.
There are other ones.
We were lucky that there were so many good conversions from arcades. I mean, I used to think, genuinely, about, like, when Street Fighter 2 came out on the Super Nintendo, that was like, oh, the arcades come home. But reality is it came home way before then, because there were so many good arcade games on the 8-bit micros in the 80s, let alone mid-90s, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, even moving away from Specky just briefly, TI Invaders on the Texas Instruments, that was absolutely amazing. A lot of people would argue that's better than the arcade version, which I think probably was, looking back. It's aged really well, that one. Yeah. I know you guys wouldn't know that one, but that was an amazing version of Space Invaders.
Yeah. Right, I'm very conscious about time, so I'm going to get us into our next topic, and then from there we'll jump into Homebrew. So, are you guys all right hanging on a little bit past 2 hours?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, good. Right, okay. Let's find me banners, because I want to try and fit this one in, because we was talking about this one earlier. And that is best 8-bit micro game you played last year. Now, I'm waiting for Martin to start cringing because he's not going to like this, because I'm going to say a Spectrum game. And that's Redshift. Like, I
feel
can't
like I'm fighting the only corner here. This is not fair. Like, this wasn't what we agreed.
Listen, right? A close second would be Man Cave. But I didn't play that last year, I don't think. I think I played that the year before, so I can't count that. But that was a Commodore 64 game, that one. So, but yeah, for me, it's got to be Redshift. That was a cracking game. I think I know what Martin's is going to be. Go on, Martin, what's yours?
Well, it's on the TV behind me there. It's on the screen, if you can see.
Put you on solo. Let's see.
Yeah, it is Sam's Journey. There's no other game.
I knew it.
I mean, I could name a whole bunch of Commodore 64 homebrew that I've really, really enjoyed, but I've played this from start to finish. It is an amazing game, and everyone should play it. Like, if you have any love for 8-bit micros, this is the game to play. It is a fantastic game. So just go and play it as a digital download. You know, emulate.
I was going to say that I've got a digital download, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I'm sure my mind will change.
Yeah, it's about 6 to 7 hours long from start to finish, about 6 hours long. I played over 3 streams, and it is by far one of the best games ever released on the Commodore 64. And I happened to played it last year, so yeah.
Oh look, OSG. What about Sonic the Hedgehog? Yeah,
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get to play it, so I can't say that one.
So the only thing for me though is just the Master System version, really, isn't it? When you think about it,
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Just with slightly better music because of the SID chip. Alex is here.
Hey, Alex.
So
G'day,
Scott. Yeah.
That's a tough one, really. I think one of the best games I've played last year, it's got to be the Sword of Iona. I think that game is amazing.
Yeah, see, I haven't played that one yet.
That game is honestly, it takes an old school sort of Spectrum feeling game, but brings it up to date with modern gameplay mechanics. You've got to play it to experience it. It's an amazing game. And if it weren't for OSG, I'd have never found that game. It was one of his videos where he talked about it in there. I think that was like in his top 10 best homebrew games on the Spectrum or something like that. And I was like, I've never heard of this game. And I instantly went out and got it. And it is tremendous. That is probably the best game I played last year. Yeah.
I have to take my hat. And also, if you've only seen it on stream or if you've only seen it through videos and stuff, play it because you feel connected to the character. Like it surprised me. Like you guys know I'm a Commodore fanboy through and through, and that's never going to change. But that game made me go, "Oh, actually, the Spectrum can do some interesting stuff. This is pretty."
And you kind of feel like you're in Conan's world. You feel like you're Conan in it, don't you? It's a great game.
Really, really cool. Again, you can emulate it and play it without having to buy a copy of it, but
I don't think we can get a physical of it. I couldn't get.
You not?
It might be released.
Pardon? No, so it seems weird they haven't released a physical. It seems weird they haven't released a physical of that one because surely that would sell like hotcakes.
It would sell really well, I would have thought. One of these publishers need to get hold of that game and release it physically because it's an amazing game.
And I've only played about an hour of it. Go on, Tony.
Which country was that developed in? Do we know?
Oh, OSG will know. I can't remember.
I'm thinking it's a Spanish one, but I don't know.
No, I don't know if it was. I don't know if that was. Might have been Russian.
Could be Russian.
You know how big the game is, Scott? Do you know if it's a fairly, because it feels like it's quite a fairly
sizable game because I've not quite finished it and I'm way into the fifth sort of area.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a big game and each area as well. The locations are amazing. Each one gets better and better. It is Spanish.
Spanish. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the environments change an awful lot. Like you get some really gorgeous looking fire effects in the fire levels and stuff like that. It's really cool.
I need to fire the Harlequin up again and do that on stream or something because I've played about an hour of it and I could tell already I was going to fall in love with it. It was like that sort of game. So I need to. If you've played good sort of 4 or 5 hours and it's still that good, then I need to go back to it.
Honestly, you can play it. It's brilliant. Yeah. And what's good if that is Spanish, then we need to see if Pat Morita team will publish that. They need to get that game out, don't they? That would be awesome.
Well, if you're firing up the Harlequin, Martin, I think you need to play Last Train to Trans Central. You need to play Ooze. Ooze is another good one on the Specky.
That's one I've not really done any time.
Ooze is good. Good game.
Obviously,
Redshift goes without saying. Alien Girl.
Yeah.
Dead Flesh Boy.
I think, the thing that did it for me was Ooze is a good game, and Last Train to Trans Am is good. They're all good games, but Sword of Iona just feels like it just feels like a modern game. It just steps a level. Like the movement. Like Ooze is a great platformer, but I've seen Ooze done many times in many different formats, right? It's kind of like it feels like a generic-ish type platformer. That Sword of Iona just feels like you've gone up a level. It really does. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and play it because, like I say, I played an hour, but I haven't gone back to it since.
And another one you need to get, Martin, is the Mandarin. Now, if you get the physical tape from Chronosoft, it's got Spectrum one side and Amstrad version the other. Now I've got the Amstrad. I'm going to have to check that out, but I have already done a video on a Specky version.
That's cool.
And it's basically a Star Wars ripoff. It's basically the Mandalorian, but they've changed it to the Mandarin. And, and you got little R2D2s in the background and little stormtroopers trying to kill you. And yeah, it's big time ripping off the Mandalorian, but it's pretty good. It's a little platformer. Good game.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and someone said Aliens Neoplasma. That's another one I need to get.
Still criminally, I've got the next version of that, and I've still criminally played a little bit of it, sort of like half an hour tops. It's a game I really need to get into.
I've played it a few times. I never get that far.
No, I don't. Yeah, I get certain distance, and then I just move on to something else. I need to give it some time.
I'm hopeful that does get a C64 release because I have been told it was in development. So
really,
it was in development.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Well, see, for me, I don't know if it's just me. I wasn't too keen on the next version. I preferred the original Spectrum version.
Yeah,
I think it lost a bit of its charm. You know?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think it gained it because there was a bit of a glitch with that. There's two different versions because I know one that Paul Retrobait, the one he done a comparison with, played very different to the one I was playing because his didn't have any like sound effects on the weapons and stuff, whereas the one I was playing had all the sound effects. It really beefed up the sound, so it's an interesting one.
Yeah,
yeah. Because I played both, but they may have released a sort of a newer version since I downloaded it. Because I downloaded that right at the beginning. But yeah, I did when I played. I did think I prefer the regular Specky version.
Yeah,
I might have to revisit that then.
So, Tetlee, best 8-bit micro game you played last year?
It'd probably be the same as yourself, actually, with Redshift.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely would actually. That would be if we're including homebrews, then yeah, it would.
It's such a good shooter, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
mean, if we had that back in the day,
Redshift the year before though. Redshift weren't last year.
That's when I picked it up last year, though.
Yeah, but I said when you played it, not when you bought it. Yeah, see, I played it last year.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
There's quite a good. There's quite a lot of good homebrew games that I bought last year. But yeah, I think all of them. When I think through, I think Redshift eclipses all of them. To be honest,
it's just. I mean, I like shooters, but I mean, it's just hard to find one that's as. It's very quick. It's.
Yeah,
I don't know quite how to explain it, but it's a very good like arcade style shooter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
it's
music's
not too
really good.
I mean, difficult.
Yeah,
it's quite an easy shooter. I think is
Well, it depends on what level of hardness you play it at. But I mean,
and even that's nice to have the difficulty levels.
Yeah, it doesn't proper punish you. But I mean, the other thing for me was the music that comes out of the Spectrum. It's like how on earth did they do that? Like, I mean, it just goes to show that back in the day, what they could have done with Spectrums. Musically wise, if they had more time to work,
the music was always there. It's just that a lot of the games that a lot of people remember were the 48K games.
Yeah.
When the 128 came out and it was utilized, there was some fantastic music on the Spectrum. It's just a lot of people remember the 48K Spectrum with the beeper sounds rather than.
I suppose. Yeah.
Even a lot of the later 128K games, they didn't bother, did they, to do the sound? You know, they'd still stick with like the beeper music or no music at all. I suppose again there were so many 48Ks out there. It's like the whole You know, we get that with the consoles, don't we? Now with the sort of cross-gen, you know, when it comes up to the next generation, they sort of do everything on the sort of previous gen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, saying about Ooze a minute ago, one of the things I like about Ooze is the music. Music's really good on that game. I mean, I imagine it probably drives you out of a wall after a while because it does, you know, sort of loop, but it's a very good tune though. Like, I find it's quite catchy. Like afterwards, you stop playing the game, and you're still walking around like humming it, you know.
Those missing haircuts got good tunes.
Talking about music, this
Oh,
album, the whole album is done using the Spectrum sound chip.
Oh, you showed that, I think, before on here, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I
but
think
yeah,
you
the
had.
whole album. There's the track list there.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been that you went to show it, but you couldn't find it.
I don't think I could find it last time, could I?
Oh, Xenoblast is on here. Yeah, that's a good game.
I just noticed that,
music.
Yeah, the guy done the music for Xenoblast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the guy's name, but he was a really nice guy. He signed it all for me. It's not something you could. I put it on in the car, and my daughter Eden, she was going mad because I was just blaring out all these tunes. I was thinking that was brilliant, but she didn't think it was.
Damn, I've not got a Sid Chip CD laying around somewhere.
I was just going to say, where did you get that CD from, Scott? Can you still get that?
It was the artist himself that I think he put it on Sinclair for sale, saying that he had a few copies left. But yeah, nice. No, he done a few physical copies of the album. I think you can get it digitally.
Oh, look, I've got to answer this. OSG, yes, it is popcorn, mate. It is, yeah.
Yes, that is brilliant as well on Spectrum, isn't it?
Good.
Yeah.
So on the Evercade, I think the port they've got is the Mega Drive version, and that's really good.
Yeah, I've played the Evercade port. Yeah,
it's very good. That's one of them games because I keep going back to that. I can't help it.
I think the Spectrum version is better than the Evercade one, if I'm being honest.
When I saw the Spectrum one, and I was quite surprised at how well it looked when you consider the difference, you know. But yeah,
again, it adds that sort of uniqueness to it. I think the Spectrum version of Old Tower is the best version, and that hurts, but it's true. It's I think it is.
Yeah, like I can see that, like when he goes off camera, he's going to be like stabbing himself in the heart. Right?
I have to like whip myself for like several times as I do it. Like, you know,
go wash your mouth out with fairy liquid. What's this? I've only played the Specky version. Oh, okay, right. So he's only played that. Yeah, the first time I played it was the Evercade one, and I'm sure that's the Mega Drive port of it. And
that is a Mega Drive port, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a game you don't. If I was to put a cloth over the Spectrum and you played it, and I asked you what system it was on, you would say probably like a much later system. It doesn't feel like a Spectrum game. I don't. It's really weird. Like I don't think anyone would go that was a Spectrum game. But it just plays fantastically well, and it's very unique again.
But that one that you mentioned earlier, Dead Flesh Boy, that's one I'd like to get hold of. That one.
Yeah, I want to get that. I've never played that.
Yeah.
Is that just a Super Meat Boy kind of?
It's a clone, isn't it?
It plays surprisingly well actually on the Specky.
I was just saying.
Off reflection.
Yeah, there you go. Because that's one from Spain, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Fun, that one, isn't it?
One. Yeah.
How in this day and age they don't get done for copyright? I mean, that is blatantly Super Meat Boy.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, the only issue with a lot of them games was I wanted them, but when you looked at the postage, you had to buy a lot for it to be worth getting them sent over.
That's right.
Because you was paying the price of the game to get it sent.
We had this conversation last time, didn't we? And was it OSG that said that George guy has started up like another company or something?
I think he said he had another website.
His YouTube channel got. Yeah, no, you can find him. I'm sure OSG can post it, or I can post it in the chat. But he started his own sort of media website because his YouTube channel got shut down, and then
that's right.
I don't know if he's still doing the game shop. I think his website does say shop coming soon, so you might be able to pick him up again.
Oh, right, okay. Because he has some good stuff on there. Tons of homebrew.
Yeah.
Now this one here, I've heard of this one. Nothing. This is the one that's all black and white, isn't it?
Oh, it's a brilliant game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've tried that.
I've played that.
I watched live.
What is that on? What is that on?
Spectrum.
Oh, it's this Spectrum,
Yeah.
didn't it? Yeah.
I think Sire did a video on it. I think.
He did,
but
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's definitely one I'd like to play.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's just for videos, I think. Who did Devil's Temple made him the website? Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Devil's Temple, yeah. That's a cracking game as well.
That's the Amiga one, isn't it? The
Yeah, it's basically Kung Fu Master, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to do a video about one at some point.
Well, the only reason I didn't was because a lot of people done it when it came out, so I never bothered.
Oh, right. I haven't looked up anyone's videos yet, so.
I mean, I got it as a digital, so whereas a lot of people at the time were showing the physical. So
didn't Paul bought the physical, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he might have done.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's move into our last one then, which is what we always finish on. Technically, we've already kind of been talking about it, I suppose, and that's Homebrew. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk Homebrew, and Scott will already know this, is because this month I've actually got some Homebrew, and that would be. Hang on, let me put myself on full screen. Hang on. So that would be, in fact, Martin had noticed too because he was there.
Yeah.
Space Monsters Meet the Hardy. Been after this for a while. Main reason I've been after it is because Bitmap Soft stopped selling them, so we can thank them for that. And then Last Train to Train Central. Now you're probably thinking, but I've seen you do a video on this, Lee. Yes, you have. I've got a digital download, and I was using the Div MMC to play it. So now I've got both the physical tapes, and that is all courtesy of Scott at the Retro Realm. So he does get homebrews, guys, as well. So
yeah, but the big question is straight away, we're all asking, have you tried loading them and do they work?
Yeah.
No, not yet. I haven't tried them yet because the boy and the missus are off this week, so I'm not even going to attempt it when
like Schrodinger's cat. If you don't try and load it, you don't know whether it does or doesn't work. They both work and don't work in the same.
The question is, if they fail, do you send them back to Scott or to Bitmap?
No. Me and Martin have got a plan. Yeah, me and mine have got a plan. Remember, he said he restored a game.
Oh yeah.
He could do the same with these, couldn't he?
Yeah, I am Bitmap's support desk. So just send them to me.
Martin is our tech guy, and we know how he loves to bash them. So he could do a nice video going. Once again, I'm fixing Bitmap sauce problems again. I'm sure he'll get great pleasure from doing it.
Well, I've done it. And my copy of Million Molly and my copy of Tiny Quest both failed from Bitmap Soft, and they are now both working because I've re-imaged the tapes. There
you go. So you're providing a service, Martin.
Yeah.
And you're doing it better.
Shouldn't be needed, but I am providing that service.
I still never got my replacement Alien Girl. That was a year ago. Bloody hell.
Was that the big box version you ordered?
In stock.
Yeah, I've got the big box limited edition one. Yeah.
So not the cheap one either. Yeah, that's typical. That's a point though. Actually, I mean, I said this last stream. I got the big box one, but at the time I had the 2A, which wasn't working. I haven't actually played the physical tape of that since I got that specky off you, Scott. So I need to do that.
Yeah, you need to try it.
Yeah. Because it could be that I'm going, here, Martin, here's another one I need you to fix. Oh, good. I mean, I'm walking down to Martin with like a big stack of Bitmap soft tapes.
He fix all
this. Martin's going to have to do himself a separate post box. For all his
what I do is I'll put him in his hand, I'll blindfold him, put him in his hand and go, can you guess where these came from? Yeah. What's this? I'd love to go shoplifting in the retro realm. Funny you say that, because when we went down there, you had to run off, didn't you, to get some money out, Scott?
Yeah.
Said, can you watch the shop for us a minute, Lee? And I went, yeah, no boys. I said, good thing is I got my security badge on me and all, so if anyone nicks anything in your shop, not only am I just running your shop, but I'm doing security for you too. So I could have just nicked them for you there and then. What's that? Don't go kicking them. You're not allowed to do that anymore. I'll say anymore. There was a time when you could have got away with such things, but not these days. It's a shame because they had some good shit, but they can't be bothered ordering from. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. It's not a good.
Have they actually come back? Are they still selling games? I don't even know.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Are they back then?
It's nothing new though. In months, is it?
Yeah, I mean, the shop's still there, but I've not seen new stock coming. But you can still buy some of the older games, I think.
Well, they had two websites, didn't they? Because you had Phoenixware as well, which was them.
Yes, true. Yeah.
So I don't know. Last time I checked, they'd all disappeared. Like I think the website was still there, but there was no games. They were all sold out. So yeah. So anything you guys have picked up? Silly question for Martin. I'm sure he's picked something up this month. And I bet you any money is Cytronic. You know.
So, as you know, I don't know, the last time we all spoke, you were talking about obviously the death of the 5 1/4-inch discs.
Yeah.
So I may have bought pretty much everything I could get hold of.
Hang on. Let's have a look. We've got to get you on solo for that. Here you go. Hold it up again for us.
So hang on, I'll try and fan them out a bit. So yeah, I did go on their website and order every game I didn't currently own.
Space Trip. That's a good game, Space Trip.
Yeah, so there was Minor 2019, there's Space Trip, Graviton, Brain Break, which is a puzzle game, Jam It, which I've not tried yet, but it looks like an attempt at a basketball game on a Commodore 64. Sizzler, Scepter of Baghdad.
Sizzler's hard, by the way. It's good, but it's hard.
Yeah, Cops. There's just so I've been picked up a bunch of those just because I wanted them before the discs disappear, basically. So I kind of went and got all of those. Well, yeah. Obviously, because the discs are going the way of the dodo, I also then went out and got some cartridge-based games because I've not got any cartridge-based games. And this one's actually really cool. So this is it's quite an old one, I think. I think a lot of people know about this game already, but it's new to me. And that's Zeta Wing on the Commodore 64. And it's a really cool, colorful, like almost, I guess nowadays they call them cute 'em ups, I guess. It's actually a really good sort of vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. And,
it's that Japanese sort of style look, isn't it?
Yeah. And it comes on. Like I said, I haven't got any carts, but because I never had when I was young, I never had carts, so they don't really have any nostalgia for me. But because I've got no choice really, the discs are going to disappear. So this is the cart. It's quite a.
That looks quite nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just. But it just feels odd to me. Me plugging this in the back of the Commodore 64 is so alien. It's just not something I did. But yeah, it's got nice bits of it. So that was. This is if you've not played it, I genuinely highly recommend it. It is a really nice game, and I know the lady. So it's all done by one lady, and it's from this Witch Soft company, and I know she is close to completing Zeta Wing 2. So there is going to be another one coming out. Now, unfortunately, it is a bitmap soft release. I didn't buy it from that. I got this off eBay. Because you can't buy it from Bitmap Soft, obviously, because they don't know how to sell anything. So yeah, I'm hoping that potentially she goes with somebody else to publish the new game because they're shocking, frankly.
OSG's just put is that from Sarah Jane.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, I think that's her name. Yes, Sarah Jane Avery. And she done so all code, graphics, sound, all done by one person, and that is a talented lady because it is really, really good, worth looking at. Another one I got again just because I actually own this already on tape, but again wanted to get some carts, and that is Dragon Spire, and this is a sort of top-down dungeon crawler adventure type game. I'll show you some screenshots on the back if you'll be able to see those. But yeah, it's but sort of like a step up from text adventure with inventory management and going around completing quests and stuff like that. But yeah, another one that's come on the old carts.
Oh, I like that.
I'm understanding a little bit more the charm of the carts. The fact that they are instant load and all that sort of stuff is quite nice. And then new hot off the press. of which a video will be hopefully coming out tomorrow on, is a brand new game. Well, I think it's a couple of months old for digital people that have played it digitally, but this is the physical release of Terrestrial.
Yes,
which
nice.
Looks really, really cool. It's like a whole different styles of game. Like there is a little bit of sort of Cabal
like,
on there. There's a little
bit like
bit of
mini games, isn't it? Sort of
yeah,
thing.
and Beachy Head sort of game on there. There's all sorts of games on that sort of lead you through sort of, well, taking on these aliens and saving the day, I guess. But it looks really cool, and I know it's been very highly rated. So yeah, hopefully gonna get some gameplay of that tomorrow and get a video out on it. But yeah, I could show more, but I'll let someone else have some airtime because you know me.
Is there a single Cytronic game you don't own, Martin?
There are a few. There are a couple. I don't own. But I will probably have a full set of Cytronic games. Yes.
Yeah, because that would be cool, wouldn't it? To have everything.
Yeah, I think I'm not that far off. I'm literally only a few off, so
yeah.
I think what I need to do, I think I need to get him a T-shirt made up with "I am Cytronic's #1 fan."
They should be Martin's sponsor. Cytronic should be sponsoring Martin, shouldn't they? With his retros or whatever.
Yeah.
Monday Night Retros sponsored by Cytronic.
Yeah,
that would work, wouldn't
it? Yeah.
Tetlee, did you just say I'll take Bitmap?
No, I said Cytronics and Bitmap. I'm not taking Bitmap.
You said I'll take Bitmap.
Well, I'll do a better job, I expect.
Oh yeah, you should rename your channel the HobbyLodge Bitmap Repair Soft or Bitmap Soft Repair. Yeah. Backed by public demand.
But yeah, I mean, I could keep going. I've got so many, but it was the knowing the discs is disappearing has made me go out and get a bunch of the games that I want, because if I don't get them now, I won't be able to get them. Frankly, you know.
Which is typical because it's kind of typical because something that people probably aren't aware of is that I recently acquired a 1541 courtesy of Martin there. It's a bit of an interesting one, wasn't it? Because he said he could get hold of it for me, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'll take that." And then of course I ended up in hospital, and so it was like, great, I'm not getting paid. And Martin quite kindly said to me, like, "Have it now and give it to me when you got it," sort of thing. So, and then of course the news came, like that they're going to stop doing this. It's like bloody typical.
Of course, we've got really extortionate APR on that loan I gave you. So I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna rocket quite quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, so I mean, what is it now? It's been 4 months, 3 months, 3 months.
Yeah. I've done it in line with energy prices. So as energy prices go up, I've just aligned with that. I thought that was fair, you know. So
yeah, that's fair. Fuck that. But yeah, so it is typical. It's just my luck, isn't it? Finally get the disc drive I had as a kid, and they're going to stop doing this, bastards.
Yeah.
But anyway,
don't worry, because I know how to make my own discs as well now. So I can get you some games on disc.
That's a good point. Yeah, that is a good point. I actually need to test it, because did you test it, Martin?
I didn't, but it doesn't look like it's ever been used. So
yeah, that's the thing. It don't look like it's come out of the box, does it? That's the thing. I will do. I'm gonna have to do a video on it. I'm gonna have to do a video because I think people need to see the condition of the box and all that. It's amazing when you consider how old it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah. So Scott, Homebrew. I know you've been playing a couple of interesting games. I've seen some videos you've been doing.
Yeah. I've been playing some Spectrum Next games, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I've got the Lost Temples, which my latest video covers this game. Cracking little platformer, this. Really enjoying it. Very Wonder Boy feel to it.
Yeah, and it's got that kind of like pixely look to it as well, hasn't it?
Yes, it's very small miniature sprites. I love it. It's a cracking little game. Gets very hard quick though.
Yeah, it looked like that as well, yeah.
And then another video I covered this on is Shovel Adventure, the next quest.
Yeah, this one.
Kind of bit like Oh Mummy. and Load Runner, and
I love Load Runner
games like that. It's a really quality little game.
See, this one, when you did your video, you had me actually shouting at the TV because there was a part where you didn't know where the last gym was.
I couldn't see it, could I?
And I'm like, it's in the corner.
It's behind you.
The problem is I was looking through the viewfinder when I was playing it, so you couldn't see the sort of like areas you needed to dig. And it weren't until later on that I stopped looking through the viewfinder and was like peering around to see the TV that I could actually see where what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Looks good though, does it good?
It is a really good game. It's a really good game. I've got a couple of new sort of specky homebrew games. I got this one because of Tetlee, because he done a video on it, and that's Tokimol.
Tokimol, yeah, that's the one with the lovely green tape, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm really chuffed that I've got a physical of that. It's still sealed. I'll unseal it and do a first impressions video on that.
I like the look of the tape. I do like the colour of it. It's cracking great colour, that. Nice.
And recently I've just had this one turn up. Ooh, let's open it up.
Ooh,
exclusive.
And we have got Mr. Hare.
And the Catacombs.
So this is going to be another. Again, Tetlee has done a cracking video on this.
And again, unfortunately, the other ones of them were released on Bitmap Soft, weren't they?
They were, yeah. So unfortunately, this is the only one in the series I own.
Yeah, it's a damn shame that.
It's
really
a lovely
looks like the best one though.
Yeah, the box is really good.
So my question is this the one that he went to Bitmap with and they said they didn't want it? It's this one, right?
I don't think they got back to him or whatever. So he sort of done a deal with.
Si mentioned it. He said they didn't want it.
Yeah, apparently they'd done the other three, but when he went to them with the latest one, they didn't want it.
That's interesting. I know that Bitmap sort of kind of went more onto cartridge-based stuff, didn't they? That was away from.
But it is a shame, isn't it? Because if you've done the others in the series and then you don't do the last one, it's a shame, isn't it?
Well, he needs to get the others re-released on a label that's going to do it justice, really, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's got more coming as well.
Yeah, they've gone to the cartridge because they literally said to me that producing Commodore tapes is too hard. That's what they said. They didn't. I mean,
and I already called bullshit on this before because I used to copy C64 games on a Sanyo double tape deck, so it ain't hard. I'm telling you,
I've done it a number of times now. It's not hard at all.
Yeah, it's absolute nonsense. It's nonsense. I'm not having it. I don't care what they say. I'm calling bullshit on that. That is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, going back to the Shovel Adventures, when I saw that, I got kind of Amiga vibes a bit from that, like the style of graphics.
I think it's originally, which you'll be pleased to know, Lee, because you'll probably be able to get it. I think this was originally an Amstrad game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really? And the developers. I think the developers, this won a competition a few years ago on the Amstrad. I'm sure it was the Amstrad.
Oh, I think you're right. I remember seeing it.
It then got converted to the Spectrum, and then obviously they've made the Spectrum Next Kickstarter. That was a Kickstarter project late last year. But yeah, it's originally an Amstrad game. That
cool.
What I would love to see, Scott. Obviously, I don't own a Next. I can't wait to see people pushing that to its. Imagine a Sword of Iana type game on the Next.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
So, because the games at the moment feel quite safe. Yeah, they're quite safe games on the Next at the moment.
Of our type style.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, there is. There's some cracking stuff. There's Way of the Exploding Fist is being remade for the Next.
Nice.
There's rumours. There was rumours as well that there was going to be an IK Plus, but I'm not sure now. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be great.
There's lots of games that have been rumoured, so be interesting to see.
Yeah, but can you do IK Plus any better than the Amiga though? Really?
I'd love to see someone try because I
fucking
love that game.
The Amiga, though, would it? It just needs to be better than the original Specky version for us.
I just think there's some games that just are perfection and they don't need to be done.
I think there's quite a few.
They still would for the Specky though. They still would for the Specky Next.
I think there's a few that was planned, but that's all gone quiet really since the Kickstarter 2 got delayed. But
always delayed.
There was loads of screenshots of loads of games that were in the pipeline. I think Renegade's another one they were looking to redo. So quite a lot of the old stuff, the originals being remade for the Spectrum Next, which I think would be interesting to see.
I know
Tell you
at
what, Scott,
Blackpool they were showing Castle Wolfenstein at Blackpool, weren't
Yes,
they?
yes, they did. Yeah, they've got
That's crazy. That is that they had that running on there. That's mad, isn't it?
and that runs really well, really well. Yeah.
I mean, this is a thing about the Next. When we had Jim on here, I mean, I said to him, "Is it 16-bit?" And he went, "No, it's 8." He said it's 8-bit, but we use some tricks, you know. So when you think about it,
potential to have the power of the Amiga, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's what I think is so crazy about it. Like how they've managed to do that on what's effectively an 8-bit system.
Yeah,
you know, but it's the little tricks they use.
What I was about to ask Scott, which kind of proves that point to an extent, is have you played the Bomberman on a Spectrum Next? No,
yes,
not Bomberman. Yeah, Bomberman.
Bomberman.
Yeah.
Well,
No. Bomb Jack. I always get two mixed up. Yeah, Bomb Jack.
Bomb Jack plays, and it's free to download, isn't it? And
I know.
It plays.
Crazy. And that looks as good as the Amiga Homebrew one.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
The Amiga Homebrew one. Is that the one Bomb Jack Beer Edition? Yeah, I want to play that. I really want to play that.
I was tempted to buy that, and then when I saw a next version, I thought, Jesus, that looks as good.
Yeah.
And the next version plays really nice.
Because the other game I want to play is that one that Zypho plays for the Amstrad. The one that's got your character's an Ewok. I forget what it's called. I was just gone out the chat. He's just gone. He'll know the name of it. There's a game that he's always playing. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really good. And he's basically got characters and things that Zypho and like in the game. I can't feel what the bloody hell it's called now. It's gone right out of my head.
What platform is this on?
Amstrad.
Oh, Amstrad. Oh.
It's on the Amstream service. It's one of the guys he knows who's a YouTuber.
There you go.
There we go. Rach just put it. Zypho's Nightmare. Yeah, because if I'm right, Rach, it's done by Yellow Belly, isn't it? If I'm right.
Yeah, that's right. Yellow Belly. Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of these games, and because I don't know if he's released any more recently, but I did hear he had more games in the works. Did this game I think he did bring out a very limited run of physical editions of this. It'd be great if he did it again because I'd definitely get one of these. It looks like a good little game.
I know the one you mean now. Yeah, it's got like a Halloween theme to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, you're an Ewok like Wicket out of Star Wars. You got to jump around. It's like a little platform game.
Yeah,
I've
seen him playing it there. Yeah.
I was then going to say Yellow Belly done Nova Bugs. Yeah, the Bugs Quest. He done that game as well, which was like a charity limited run physical release thing that they done a couple of years back.
If I'm right, Rach, that one there that you're talking about, was that one where he used like actual YouTubers as some of the characters in it? I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was originally Nova Bug.
Right.
He's another Amstrad guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Bugs
oh,
Quest,
yeah, Nova Bug.
One that came out on the Xbox One or something, like a download game, turn-based tactics one, or am I getting that mixed up?
No, I don't think it was that.
No, if this was Yellow Belly, I would have thought it'd be Amstrad because that's what he does. Because I mean, Rach was in it as well. I'd say that doesn't surprise me.
Awesome.
He's quite often in the comments of Rach's videos. He's quite often in the comments. I've seen a few times where he's actually recommended games that she plays for her next video. So, yeah,
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
the Amstrad homebrew scene doesn't get as much coverage, I don't think, but there's some cracking homebrew games on the Amstrad. There really is.
Relentless, great game.
Yeah,
and there's a couple of others because Cytronica got a few. What was that one I said last time? Was it Saber Star or something like that? Star Saber?
Yeah, it's Star Saber, isn't it?
That's another one I've got to get. Yeah, but it's the thing. Since I got the Amstrad, obviously I haven't had the money to do it with not working and that. But hopefully that will change soon. So, not heard from him for ages, but he is sound. Yeah, okay. Hopefully he's busy making another game then. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So, Tetlee, Homebrew. What have you picked anything up recently?
Pickups. Well, I've got the same ones as Scott. So the Spectrum Next games, the Pat Morita ones, and And then Mr.
Obviously,
Hare, which is also
Mr. Hare.
code.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one I got as well, which I haven't got the big. I got the big box version of this.
It's pretty.
I got the big box version as well, which
pretty cool cover, and it's got the Crash Smash on it as well.
Yeah, it's a cool game actually, really cool. I'm going to do a video of this one soon.
Nice.
It's kind of like a sort of slower. It's like a sort of dungeon crawler in a style of your sort of Gauntlet type, but a lot slower pace than that. It reminds me of something else, but I can't quite think of it. Somebody, when I do a video of it, somebody will put it in the comment, I suspect. But it's sort of a slow, methodical one, but really nice graphics, lovely soundtrack, and it plays really nice too. I was playing it the other night. You'll like this one, or Scott will at least, seeing as he's got a next. I got quite far in it, and I thought I'll do a snapshot because I was just about to switch it off. I thought I'd do a snapshot so I can carry on from there. But instead of pressing the snapshot button, I pressed the reset button.
You pressed
oh no!
Oh no!
Because they're right beside each other on the next. And as soon as I pressed it, I thought, "Oh, you twat!" So I mean, it's not bad because it's a great game. So I don't mind starting from scratch. And the other homebrew I've been playing a lot of, which I did a video of already. It's not a new one, but I know a couple of people have got this and haven't played it for some bloody reason. It's brilliant.
I'm one of them.
Oh, Quadron, right now that
you've got to play it. It's so good.
The old Derby again for us. Sorry.
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, see, like that one. That's Chronosoft, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the version you got there, because they got like a single tape version, like Scott's got there.
Which I've got.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the difference is between the two. There's one comes with some.
The double tape one comes with. Double tape comes with this little disc, so you can get the digital download. And you also, I don't know if you get that sparkly cassette on the one you got there.
No, I've just got a standard black one.
Yeah. But there wasn't much difference.
Like that sparkly tape. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? But it was only like £2 difference between them. And I know
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I'm that sad guy that likes all the different color tapes and the glittery stuff. I think it's great. That's the first thing I look at when I open them games up, especially Chronosoft, because we've had it where I've got a game and it's been green, and then Paul gets the same game and it's purple because they just use whatever tapes they've got.
He randomly picks a tape, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So my first thing is always, what color tapes you got?
I loaded it in Tetlee. I remember when it first came out and I got it. I loaded it in and I didn't know what the hell to do, and I never went
confusing.
Back.
Yeah, you got to stick with it a bit, but it's pretty brilliant.
Watching your video, I thought, oh, actually, that does look a good game. Now I know what the hell you got to do.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot to it. So there's plenty of replay value in there.
Yeah,
but I think Sly Ginger Hippie Gaming's got it as well, and he hadn't played it either. He's probably had that.
I think me and him got it at the same time, and we was just like, "What the hell is this game all about? It makes no sense."
So, like, there's quite a few sort of robot-y sort of games like that on the spectrum, isn't there? Because Cy had one. Is it Ship of Doom or something?
Oh yeah, that was Cytronic, wasn't it?
It might be, yeah. I think he actually completed it, if I remember right. It was either a video or a stream. I'm sure he did.
There's a couple of those robot ones on Cytronic.
Yeah, there's more than one, isn't there? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, they I've got to be honest, they do seem to, a lot of the homebrew games do like putting robot games, I've noticed, on the Specky. So yeah, it's probably why
graphics.
Yeah. Weren't this a game though that was kind of made for the Spectrum back in the day and never got finished or something?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if they sort of finished developing it later on or if it was just as it was and just not released. I'm not too sure on that.
It's easy to do it on the Spectrum because it's just a block with one color, right? So you can't really go wrong.
Hey, there's a lot of color on that game. It's a good one.
Yeah, he had to do it, didn't he? He had to do it.
I guess a lot of these, when you say about the robot characters, I guess a lot of it come from that Pst game, didn't it? Do you remember that one?
Yes.
The old Ultimate game. I mean, that would have probably been the start of all that robot character, I guess.
Robots were really a big thing though in the 80s, weren't they? So
robots and ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robots and ninjas, and then when you got the 90s, it was all of a sudden Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and biker Marshall Miles and all that sort of stuff.
And transforming stuff, transformer bots, and
yeah, basically. Yeah, thinking about it, 80s was pretty much just robots, wasn't it? Transformers, GoBots, Rock Lords. I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
We all thought robots were going to take over, didn't we, at that time?
Yeah, well, they still might, but it's a bit later than I think we thought it was going to be.
Very slow progress.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, YouTube can't even get their bots on there working properly. So, I don't think we've got to worry about Judgment Day yet. Nah. Right. Well, I'm thinking we need to wrap this up because we've been going 2 hours 25, so we've been going quite a while. But before we do, I think I really need to just do this one more time.
Hello, little old lady.
Because it's funny. That's going to be a permanent fixture on this stream now. That hello, little old lady. I used to love Chorlton and the Wheelies. I bought that for my kids when they were younger, and they used to love it. Yeah, I never could understand as a kid what the witch was saying though, because she's got a Welsh accent in that, isn't she?
I can remember my sister was scared of the witch in the kettle.
Yeah,
when we were kids.
And the kettle as well. What the hell was that all about? I mean, mind you, if you look into it, I mean, you pick holes everywhere, wouldn't you? Like, why they got wheels? Why does the dragon look like a dog? Like, you could go all the way, couldn't you? But that's a different stream entirely. Right, okay, guys. So I think we'll end it there. All we've got to do is say a little wave because we've got to do the game show wave. It's got to be done. See you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.